And then the next case would be case number 5. Case number 5, appeal number HA 2021-001-286. 6026 Lawndale Street, Philadelphia Water Department.
Okay, thank you.
I-
Who's representing the city in this matter?
Good afternoon, Chairman Woodson. This is Alexandra Athanasiadis on behalf of the city in this matter.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon. And the appellant, Adeline Volpe or Kelly Neary, either person present?
Chairman, I don't believe anyone is showing up. I received notification yesterday afternoon that they requested a continuance to a medical emergency. The city has no objection to the case being relisted.
Okay.
We would only ask that it be marked must be heard at the next listing, because this matter was before the board previously in November, and it had to be rescheduled due to one of the executors of the estate being unable to attend.
Okay. And to your knowledge, is this a legitimate request based on a real medical emergency?
I have no reason to doubt it, Chairman Woodson. I don't know one way or the other, but I would presume it's
Okay.
valid.
All right, thank you.
Sure.
In that case, then we will continue the matter on a must be heard basis.
Thank you, Chairman.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, would you like to hear the second order case, or do you just want to go in order?
Let's go in order, because I just want to be able to get plowed through this so we don't have any confusion.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Case number 6, appeal number HA 2021-002-606. Tobacco retail for Ronnie Montesino, 5445 through 47 Baltimore Avenue.
Okay, who's representing the city? Okay, are we having technical difficulties? Because
Jody Wilkins is here, but I'm not sure.
and I'm not sure if Mr. Cohen is, Mr. Cohen, are you handling this matter? Or is that Mr. Johnson?
What case are you calling?
I believe it's Mr. Rulo.
And I'm actually contacting him
Case
at the
number
moment.
6.
He might have stepped away for a second.
Oh, okay.
I'm here. Sorry, I was having some technical issues. Can you see me now?
Yes,
Yes.
yes, thank you.
Is this, I thought that this was, am I correct that this is 54, 45, 47 Baltimore Avenue?
Correct.
Okay, give me 1 second. I'm assigned to the next
Sorry,
one.
I believe the Baltimore Avenue is mine.
Okay.
Is this Mr. Montesino?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. This is Christopher Johnson for the city of Philadelphia. Has Mr. Montesino appeared?
I don't believe so. At least no one has responded. Do you know if there's legal counsel involved, Mr. Johnson?
No, he filed this on his own.
Do you know if this is a corporate entity?
I'm not aware, sir.
Okay,
Yes, it is.
it is. Does Mr. Jefferson representing is the board's counsel? Apparently it is. So I think what we're going to need to do here. Well, let me ask. In terms of service, Ms. Richardson, did service go out to this entity?
Yes.
Okay. And so, excuse me. So services went out. Mr. Johnson, do you have any, if legal counsel is required and there's no legal counsel been retained in this matter, I think we probably need to keep it simple as possible. And that would be to continue it and advise him that he needs a lawyer to represent him.
Well, I think it's telling that they didn't appear at the hearing if there was service.
Okay.
If he were trying to represent himself, then there would be a need for the board to continue the matter.
Right.
However, he's failing to prosecute the appeal. He's the appellant. And on that, the city would ask the board to affirm the city for non-appearance.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Pincus, do you have a time for us?
2:45 PM.
2:45 p.m. Okay. Given that, with regard to HA 2021-002606, Ronnie Montesino, 5445-47 Baltimore Avenue. City affirmed lack of appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
City affirm non-appearance.
Thank you very much. Matters resolved. Okay, next case.
Okay, this is case number 7. Appeal number HA 2021-002607. Mohammed T. Rashid, Tobacco Retail, 6400 Roosevelt Boulevard. And we have an interpreter. She is here as well.
Okay. Alrighty. So do we in this matter, who is the interpreter?
It's me. My name is Meyers, and I am the Hindi interpreter.
Okay. Before we get started, ma'am, would you mind spelling your last name, please, so that we can do that? And if you can add that to your iPhone, can you add your identity to the iPhone so we will make it easier for the court reporter?
Okay, it's my last name is Austin. It's A is in apple, U is in umbrella, S is in Samantha, T is in tango, I is in indigo, N is in Nancy.
Okay.
And my first name is Meher. It's M is in Mary, E is in Elizabeth, H is in Henry, R is in Romeo.
Okay, Meher. Awesome. Okay.
I'll change your name now.
Okay. Thank you very much. Who's representing this matter for the city?
I am Chairman. This is Michael Rouleau, last name spelled Rullo, and I am representing the city in this matter.
Okay. Now, is the appellant present? Mr. Rashid.
Hi, yes, this is Rashid.
Okay, Mr. Mohammed Rashid. Okay, thank you. Mr. Rashid, we have ordered an interpreter for you to represent you. And so before we proceed, I'm going to swear in the interpreter, and then the two of you will need to communicate, because Ms. Austin, it'd be helpful if you could interpret for him simultaneously so that we could sort of proceed. Do you have a way
Chairman
to?
Woodson,
Yes, sir.
does the record show that Mr. Rashid is represented?
Mr. Levy, your role in this matter, are you related to this matter at all?
Yes, I'm attorney for Mr. Rashid.
Oh, okay, didn't realize that. Okay. All right, thank you. Is there a way, I need to know, is there a way for Ms. Austin and Mr. Rashid to communicate without disrupting the hearing? Ms. Austin?
We can just then text or something, but we won't be able to communicate like that.
What if you both had each other's cell phone numbers and you talked and you could interpret for him as we were speaking simultaneously? We've done that in the past.
Chairman Woodson, if I could just intervene real quickly. I'm unfamiliar with the board's policy on this, but I think in general, we do need to put the interpretation at least into the audio record here, rather than having us unaware of what is happening in terms of the translation. But if the board has a different policy, then I of course default to that.
Yeah, we've in the past allowed the interpreter to speak directly to the appellant and proceed in that fashion. She will speak on his behalf, and we will hear her speak to him, and then she will then respond for him. That's how we've normally handled it. And so, Ms. Austin, would you raise your right hand?
Okay.
Do you swear or affirm that you will faithfully translate from Hindi to English, English back to Hindi, the proceedings that regarding this matter on Roosevelt Boulevard?
Yeah, I do.
All right, thank you. You can place your hand down. Mr. Rashid and Mr. Hindi, are you willing to share phone numbers or have any other way to communicate with each other?
जी मिस्टर रशीद, आप मुझे अपना अगर आप चाहेंगे तो फोन नंबर देंगे कि मैं आपसे फिर बात कर लूं डायरेक्टली आपके बारे में?
हाँ, 215 820-9973.
अच्छा, मेरा साथ ये है कि मैं खुद इसी उस पे हूँ फोन पर। मेरा जो वैसे फोन नंबर है वो है 570-580-7233।
7233.
जी, लेकिन वो आपकी कॉल तो इधर नहीं आएगी ना अब। Sir, Chairman
Yes,
sir,
yes.
I have a question that, because before this, I was trying to talk, but I think you were not able to hear me. So I am on my iPhone right now.
Okay,
So that
already.
would interrupt my Zoom meeting then.
Okay, so what we're going to need to do then, we're going to have to be creative. And
Okay.
so what we will do, it will take longer, but you will need to interpret live on behalf of Mr. Rashid. And we'll
I
just have
will
to
try
wait.
to be, I will
Okay.
try to be as quick
So
as possible.
explain to Mr. Rashid that all of his communication has to be through you.
Okay. Mr. Rashid, आपने जो भी बात करनी हो ना, आपने इंटरप्रेटर का इस्तेमाल करना है उसमें.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Levy, will Mr. Rashid be called as a witness today?
I believe he will, yeah.
Okay, so I need to swear him in. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Miss Austin, I need you to interpret what I just said.
Mr. Rashid, अभी ये जो Mr. Chairman है, ये अभी आपसे एक वो oath लेंगे.
Okay.
Mr. Rashid, would you raise your right hand so you may be sworn?
अपने सीधा हाथ उठाएं ताकि आपसे ये लिया जाए oath.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give today be the truth so help you God?
Yes.
आप जो कुछ भी बताएंगे आज वो बिल्कुल आप खुदा को हाजिर नाजिर जान कर सब कुछ सच बताएंगे.
सही है.
True. Okay.
Thank you. Place your hand down.
नीचे कर लें हाथ.
Okay. Mr. Rulo, let's get started.
Okay, thank you, Chairman Woodson. I'm going to call Miss Jody Wilkins as the city's principal witness in this matter.
Okay, thank you.
I'm here.
Now, just for everyone's, so everyone understands, when you speak in English, please be patient and allow the interpreter to share with Mr. Rashid before you continue. This will take longer, but that's the only option we have at this moment. And
Chairman
so,
Woodson,
yes, sir.
my sound cut out. Who is the witness that Mr. Rule is about to call?
Miss Jody Wilkins.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Right. And so, Ms. Austin, I need you to interpret everything that's said in English. And so we will be patient. We'll just stop and allow you to do that and hear you. Okay?
Thank you, sir. Okay, ये इन्होंने अभी मिस जोडी विल्किंस हैं जो उस वक्त गवाह थी, उनको बुलाया है, अभी उनसे बात करेंगे पहले.
ठीक है.
Okay.
Thank you. Mr. Rulo.
Thank you. Miss Wilkins, can you please state your name and occupation? Actually, I don't know if we have sworn in Miss Wilkins yet.
No, I had not.
Not yet. Miss Austin?
मिस विल्किन से ये अभी वो इसी तरह उनसे लेंगे, तस्दीक कराएंगे कि वो सब कुछ सच बताएंगी.
ठीक है.
Okay.
Ms. Wilkins, would you raise your right hand so that you may be sworn? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give today be the truth so help you God?
I do.
All right, thank you.
उन्होंने उसी तरह वादा किया है कि वो सब कुछ खुदा को हाजिर नाजिर जान के सब सही सही बताएंगी.
Miss Wilkins, thank you for being here today. Can you please state your occupation for the board? And actually what I would ask is to please wait after my question so that Ms. Austin can translate and then she can separately translate the answer.
All right. ये अभी इन्होंने मिस विल्किन से ये पूछा है कि वो काम क्या करती हैं और वो भी थोड़ा इंतजार करके इनको जवाब देंगी, बोर्ड को बताएंगी.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm a sanitarian supervisor with the City of Philadelphia Health Department.
ये सिटी ऑफ फिलाडेल्फिया में सुपरवाइजर हैं जो सफाई का अमला होता है उसकी.
Okay.
And what are your primary duties in that role?
आपके क्या काम होते हैं, क्या क्या जिम्मेदारियां होती हैं इसमें?
I oversee the sales of tobacco to minors and also those who sell tobacco to make sure they have the proper permit to sell.
इनका ये काम होता है कि ये इस चीज को देखती हैं कि जो छोटे कम उम्र के बच्चे हैं उनको तंबाकू की कोई चीज ना दी जाए, और अगर कोई ऐसा दे रहा है तो उसके पास उसका क्या परमिट होता है।
Okay, and are you familiar with a business located at 6400 East Roosevelt Boulevard?
Yes, I am.
इन्होंने ये आपकी जो बिजनेस है जो 6400 रूजवेल्ट बुलेवार्ड पे है उसके बारे में बताया है कि क्या ये जानती हैं उसके बारे में, और उन्होंने उसकी तस्दीक की है कि उनको मालूम है।
Okay.
And have you had an opportunity to review the public health records for that business?
Yes, I have.
इन्होंने उनसे पूछा है कि इन्होंने उस जो बिजनेस है जो आपका है उसके जो पब्लिक हेल्थ रिकॉर्ड्स हैं उसको देखा था, तो उन्होंने उसका जवाब दिया है कि हाँ उन्होंने किया है, देखा है।
ठीक है।
Okay, and please wait 1 second. I'm going to put a document up on the screen.
ये भी एक कागज निकालेंगे, स्क्रीन पर दिखाएंगे।
सही।
And can everyone see this document okay? If you can't, please let me know.
If you could make it magnified just a bit.
ये इन्होंने एक डॉक्यूमेंट निकाला है, अगर आप देख सकते हैं इसको, अगर आप नहीं, यस, Mr. Rashid can see it.
Chairman, is that sufficient, Chairman Woodson?
Yes.
Ms. Wilkins, do you recognize this document?
Yes, I do.
मिस विल्किन से इन्होंने पूछा है कि ये क्या जानती हैं इस डॉक्यूमेंट से, जो भी दस्तावेज दिखाए गए हैं से वाकिफ है, उन्होंने इसकी तस्दीक की है कि वो जानती है, उन्होंने देखा हुआ है।
Okay.
Okay, and again, I know that this is kind of unusual, but please wait so that we can have that question translated. And I very much appreciate the patience, Ms. Wilkins. With that, can you describe to the board what this document is?
मिस विल्किन से मालूम करना चाह रहे हैं कि वो क्या बता सकती हैं कि ये डॉक्यूमेंट की जो दस्तावेज दिखाए गए हैं ये है क्या।
ठीक है।
Okay.
This document is a denial letter that was sent to the business on December 27th, 2029, to let them know that they had 3 violations of youth sales and in the last 2 years, and therefore their permit was denied for the year 2020.
Okay, इनका ये जो लेटर है, ये जो डॉक्यूमेंट दिखाया गया है, इसमें ये है कि आपको नामंजूर किया गया था दिसंबर 27 को 2019 को कि आपको इसका जो लाइसेंस है कि आप टबैको आगे बेच सकते हैं, ये नहीं हो सकता और ये 2020 तक चलेगा।
सही है।
And Ms. Wilkins, is this a document that the Department of License and the Health Department prepares in the ordinary scope of its business?
मिस विल्किन से वो ये पूछ रहे हैं कि क्या यही वो डॉक्यूमेंट है, ऐसा ही दस्तावेज है जो आमतौर पर बिजनेस के में इस्तेमाल होता है और दिया जाता है। मिस विल्किन से उन्होंने पूछा।
अच्छा, मैं एक चीज मैं आपको बता दूं कि मार्च में मेरी ओपन हार्ट सर्जरी हुई थी और मैं वहां पे नहीं था। ये जो मार्च में सेल हुई है ना 2019 में, मेरी ओपन हार्ट सर्जरी थी तो मैं वहां पे नहीं था और उसके बाद मैं 6-7 मंथ के लिए रिलैक्स पे था। मुझे नहीं पता, मेरे एम्प्लॉइयों ने किया था, जब मैं वापस आया तो मैंने उनको फायर भी कर दिया।
Okay, I would like to inform everyone on board this case that in March 2019, when this sale was done, I was not there because I had an open heart surgery and I was on not advised to work for 6 to 8 months. I wasn't there. And when I came back to work, I did fire that employee who had done this.
Okay, Mr. Bashir.
Yes.
You have an attorney, so wait until your attorney asks you to testify and do that under his direction. Okay, the city is still presenting its case.
Okay, अभी मिस्टर रशीद आपको ये हिदायत की जाती है कि आपके वकील हैं, आप उनका इंतजार कीजिए, जब वकील आपको कहेगा, आपको हिदायत देंगे तो फिर आप अपनी ये बात बता सकते हैं। अभी जो सिटी है, सिटी ऑफ फिलाडेल्फिया, वो अपना केस बता रहा है।
ठीक है।
Okay.
And Ms. Wilkins, is this the type of document that the department regularly maintains in its records?
Yes.
यस मोमिना ने पहले मिस वेलकन से ये पूछा था ना, इस किस्म का ही डॉक्यूमेंट, इस किस्म की दस्तावेज जो सा है वो रिकॉर्ड में दिया जाता है किसी भी बिजनेस के बारे में, तो उन्होंने मिस वेलकन ने जवाब दिया है, हाँ उसका तस्दीक की है।
And can you describe what the violations are that are cited in here?
और मिस वेलकन से वो पूछ रहे हैं कि इसमें क्या बताया गया है कि आपने कानून कौन सी खिलाफ वर्जी की है।
The violations that are in the letter are sales to minor on April the 28th, 2018, March the 26th, 2019, and September 2nd, 2019. There were the 3 violations that were reviewed based on the denial.
इस जो दस्तावेज है इसमें 3 उन्होंने बताया कि गैर कानूनी काम हुए कि 3 दफा एक कम उम्र बच्चे को ये दिया गया है, सेल की गई है, एक अप्रैल 28, 2018, एक मार्च 26, 2019, एक 9/2/2019 को किया गया, 3 दफा, इसलिए इसकी नामंजूरी हुई थी।
Okay, and can you describe to the board what a tobacco retailer permit is?
Tobacco retailer, oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. ये मिस वेलकन से पूछ रहे हैं कि वो कुछ बता सकेंगी कि टोबैको रिटेलर जो सा है परमिट वो होता क्या है। Okay.
The permit, the tobacco retailer permit is a permit that allows retailers to sell tobacco and e-cigarette products in the city of Philadelphia that has to be paid for and renewed every year.
जो परमिट होता है इन्होंने ये बताया है कि वो इस चीज की इजाजत देता है रिटेलर को कि वो तम्बाकू या उससे जो मुतालिक कोई भी अशिया होती हैं उनको बेच सकता है और उसको दोबारा से रिन्यू कराने के लिए कुछ पैसे देने पड़ते हैं, मतलब उसकी कोई चार्ज होगा और फिर आप करवा सकते हैं, हर साल ये करवाना होता है।
Okay, and what causes the department to issue a denial for the renewal of a tobacco permit?
कौन सा हिस्सा होता है डिपार्टमेंट का जो इसको या तो इशू करता है या इसको नामंजूर करता है इस परमिट को आगे? इन मिस वेलकम से पूछ रहे हैं।
The regulation states that if the business has 3 tobacco violations to sell tobacco to minors in 2 years preceding the date of the application, then they would be denied the permit. So these 3 dates was reviewed and was decided that based on the violations, they would get a permit denial.
इसमें ये होता है कि कुछ साल में अगर आपने 3 बार छोटे बच्चों को कोई ऐसे दिया हो, ये टबैको बेचा हो, तो फिर आपका जब रिन्यूअल के लिए आता है उसको डिनाई कर देते हैं। और इसी तरह आपकी तरफ से मतलब आपकी जो भी बिजनेस की तरफ से ये 3 दफा जो गैर कानूनी ये मतलब इसके जो भी इनका असूल है उसके खिलाफ बात हुई थी, इस वजह से उसको इनकार किया गया।
Okay, and so, pardon me, I had neglected to enter this into the record as City Exhibit A. So I would just request that the board admit this as City Exhibit A.
इन्होंने उसको क्योंकि सिटी एग्जिबिट ए में नहीं शामिल किया तो वो कोर्ट से दरख्वास्त कर रहे हैं कि उसको शामिल किया जाए।
So noted and admitted.
Okay. And the final thing that I'll note about this document, which speaks for itself, is the final paragraph of it does provide information concerning the right to appeal and that there is a 30-day window for that appeal to be executed.
आखिरी बात जो वो करना चाहते हैं इस कागज में, इस दस्तावेज में, कि जो इसका आखिरी पैराग्राफ है जो आखिरी है उसमें वो बता रहे हैं कि आपके पास ये हक है कि आप अपील में जा सकें और आपके पास 30 दिन का वक्त होता है कि आप अपील में जा सकते हैं।
Mr. Buller, what was the date of that letter, please?
That was December 27th, 2019, which is reflected up here on the upper left.
Thank you.
And moving on to this next document, just one second. Ms. Wilkins, are you familiar with this document?
मिस विल्किन से वो पूछ रहे हैं कि आप क्या इस जो डॉक्यूमेंट आप वो दिखा रहे हैं इससे आप वाकिफ हैं?
Yes, I am.
उन्होंने तस्दीक की है कि वो जानती हैं।
Okay, and what is this document?
और ये
This is-
डॉक्यूमेंट क्या है?
Sorry.
It's okay. वो पूछ रहे हैं कि ये डॉक्यूमेंट है क्या?
This is a ticket, code violation notice for April the 28th, 2018 for sale to tobacco to a minor.
और वो ये बता रही हैं कि ये वो टिकट है जो इस बात की तस्दीक करती है कि आपने एक छोटे कम उम्र बच्चे को तम्बाकू की कोई चीज बेची है, टबैको का सेल हुई है।
Okay, and is this a document that the health department maintains in the ordinary scope of its business operations, excuse me, its operations?
और यही वो बात वो उससे मिस विल्किन से पूछ रहे हैं कि क्या यही इस किस्म की दस्तावेज है जो हेल्थ डिपार्टमेंट अपने पास रखता है एक बिजनेस के लिए उसके रिकॉर्ड में रखने के लिए।
Yes, it is.
और मिस विल्किंस ने इसकी तस्दीक की है।
Okay, and can you, excuse me, is this also a document that once issued, the department maintains in its custody and control?
और क्या ये वो एक दस्तावेज है जो डिपार्टमेंट जो सा है वो अपने पास भी रखता है और उसके इख्तियार में भी होता है ये?
Yes, this ticket is a copy of the original. The original goes down to the code violation unit for processing.
ओके, मिस विल्किंस ने बताया कि ये बिल्कुल उसकी जो असल वाला होता है उसकी कॉपी होती है और ये उसमें चला जाता है, ये रिकॉर्ड में चला जाता है जिसमें वायलेशंस की ये सारा रिकॉर्ड रखते हैं जो भी कोई गैर कानूनी काम होता है।
Okay, and Chairman Woodson, I would just request that this be admitted into the record as City Exhibit B.
और ये चेयरमैन से दरख्वास्त कर रहे हैं कि ये जो डॉक्यूमेंट जो भी दिखा रहे हैं ये एग्जिबिट बी में इसको रखा जाए।
So noted.
रिकॉर्ड में। उन्होंने इसकी तस्दीक की है चेयरमैन ने।
Okay, and Ms. Wilkins, what is the date of this document?
मिस विल्किन से वो
I'm sorry.
मिस विल्किन से वो इस डॉक्यूमेंट पे जो तारीख लिखी गई है उसके बारे में पूछ रहे हैं।
April 28th, 2018.
और इस पर जो तारीख है वो अप्रैल 28, 2018 है।
Okay. And Ms. Wilkins, can you see the document that I've now put up on the screen here?
अब एक और डॉक्यूमेंट इन्होंने दिखाया है स्क्रीन पर और वो मिस विल्किन से उसकी तस्दीक कर रहे हैं कि वो क्या है।
Yes.
Okay.
वो कह रही है।
And what is this document? Are you familiar with this document on the left?
आप जो दाहिने हाथ पे डॉक्यूमेंट है उन्होंने वो मिस विल्किन से पूछ रहे हैं कि क्या आप इसके बारे में जानती हैं?
Yes, I am. It is a tobacco sell to minor ticket for 3/26/19.
वो बता रही हैं कि ये भी एक टिकट है तम्बाकू की कोई भी अशिया जो फरोख्त की गई है एक कम उम्र बच्चे को और इस पे जो तारीख लिखी गई है वो मार्च 26।
Okay, and are you familiar with the document on the right hand of this screen?
और जो सीधे हाथ पर डॉक्यूमेंट है उसके बारे में पूछ रहे हैं कि वो क्या है।
Yes, it is a tobacco sale to minor without ID dated March the 26th of 2019.
जी, वो बता रही है कि ये भी एक टिकट है जो एक कम उम्र बच्चे को आपने तम्बाकू की कोई चीज बेची गई है और उसके पास आईडी भी नहीं था उसका और ये मार्च 26, 2019 का है।
Okay, and just to clarify, so on this date, there were two separate violations issued. Is that correct?
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry.
और वो उनसे पूछ रहे हैं कि क्या आप इस चीज से वाकिफ हैं कि ये दो दफा एक सेल हुई है उसी दिन कि जो इस चीज के इस कानून की जो है वो खिलाफ वर्जी कर रहे हैं।
Yes, there were this is considered one violation a day, but there were two tickets written because they sell tobacco to minor. The clerk did not ask for ID, so that was issued at the same time.
जी बिल्कुल, बेशक एक दिन था लेकिन 2 दफा सेल हुई है, इसीलिए जो आपके ऊपर टिकट दिया गया है वो 2 दफा दिया गया, दिन एक ही था।
Okay, and as with the previous document, this is something that the department prepares and maintains in the ordinary course of its business, correct?
इसी तरह ये जो डॉक्यूमेंट हैं, ये जो डिपार्टमेंट है, ये अपने हर बिजनेस के बारे में उनके मेंटेन करता है, उनके लिए रिकॉर्ड में ये सब कुछ।
Yes, it is.
जी, उन्होंने इसकी तस्दीक की है।
Okay, Chairman Woodson, I would just request that this be admitted into the record as City Exhibit C.
City, Exhibit C, so noted. Thank you. Admitted.
और उन्होंने चेयरमैन से वही दरख्वास्त की है कि इसको सिटी के रिकॉर्ड में एग्जिबिट सी की तरह रखा जाए, और उन्होंने भी इसकी तस्दीक की है।
Okay, and Ms. Wilkins, can you see the document that's on the right hand of the screen now?
Yes.
मिस विल्किंस को जो राइट पे दिखाया जा रहा है, मिस विल्किंस ने कहा है कि हाँ वो देख रही है उसको।
Okay, and are you familiar with this document as well?
Yes, this is, oh, I'm sorry.
उनसे वो तस्दीक कर रहे हैं कि आप इस डॉक्यूमेंट के बारे में जानती हैं।
Yes, this is a tobacco sale to minor on September 2nd, 2019.
जी, वो बता रही हैं कि हाँ ये भी एक उसी तरह टिकट है जो एक छोटे बच्चे को, कम उम्र बच्चे को टोबैको दिया गया है। 9/2/2019 की है ये।
Okay, and as with the previous documents, is this something that the department prepares and then maintains in the ordinary course of its business?
ये जिस तरह वो पूछ रहे हैं कि जिस तरह पहले उन्होंने डॉक्यूमेंट्स के बारे में पूछा था कि डिपार्टमेंट इसको अपने पास रखता है कि अगर कोई बिजनेस के रिकॉर्ड के लिए।
Yes, it is.
जी, मिस विल्किंस ने इसकी तस्दीक की है।
Okay, and Mr. Chairman Woodson, I would just request that this be admitted into the record as City Exhibit D.
So admitted.
इन्होंने चेयरमैन से इस बात की तस्दीक दरख्वास्त की है कि वो इसको सिटी के रिकॉर्ड में एग्जिबिट डी की तरह रखें, और चेयरमैन ने उसकी तस्दीक की है।
Okay, and Ms. Wilkins, just for the sake of clarity, again, how many violations of this type does it take for the department to issue a denial of renewal of a tobacco retail license?
वो थोड़ा सा और इस बात को तस्दीक करने के लिए मिस विल्किन से पूछ रहे हैं कि कितनी बार अगर इस तरह की कानून की खिलाफ वर्जी की जाए तो आपको कितनी बार की टिकट मिलती है कि आपका जो परमिट है उसको दोबारा से रिन्यू कर नामंजूरी होती है।
The number of tobacco sales to minors has to be 3 in a 2-year period.
वो बता रही हैं कि 3 दफा अगर आप खिलाफ वर्जी करते हैं 2 साल के अरसे में, फिर ऐसा होता है।
Okay, so in the 2 years preceding the issuance of the denial, there were in fact 3 sales to minors. Is that correct?
इसी तरह वो उनसे इस बात की पूछ रहे हैं कि क्या जो आपको इस तरह से नामंजूर किया गया है उसमें आपने 2 साल के अरसे में 3 बार इसकी खिलाफ वर्जी की है इस बात की।
That's correct.
जी, उन्होंने इसकी तस्दीक की है।
And in general, is someone who has one of these tobacco retail permits, are they responsible regardless of whether or not they are on site for tobacco sales to minors?
वो ये पूछ रहे हैं कि जो इस तरह से ये तंबाकू की अशिया बेचते हैं, उनकी सेल करते हैं, क्या उनकी ये जिम्मेदारी होती है कि अगर वो वहाँ मौजूद भी नहीं है लेकिन ये उनकी जिम्मेदारी है कि कम उम्र बच्चों को ये ना दिया जाए, इसकी सेल ना की जाए।
Yes, the violation is against the business. It's not against any particular person, the clerk or anyone else that is present or not present at the time that is served.
Okay, just 1 second. Okay, I have no further questions for Ms. Wilkins at the moment. I would just reserve my rights to do some rebuttal testimony if necessary.
All right. इनको अभी और सवाल मिस विल्किन से कोई नहीं करने हैं, लेकिन अगर इनको कोई करने होंगे तो इनके पास ये हक है कि वो इनसे बात कर सकते हैं दोबारा.
Any cross to Ms. Wilkins?
Thank you. Ms. Wilkins, good afternoon. What is the name, what is the name or position called of the employees that deliver these violations to the establishment? What's the name of the employee that witnesses the tobacco sale?
ये उनसे पूछ रहे हैं आपके वकील मिस विल्किन से कि उस शख्स का नाम क्या है जो ये जो वायलेशंस जो ये खिलाफ वर्जियां होती हैं वो एस्टैब्लिशमेंट को उसके बारे में बताते हैं, रिपोर्ट करते हैं.
I don't mean what is their name. I mean, what is their rank or position?
ओके, वो अब ये पूछना चाह रहे हैं उनका नाम नहीं बल्कि उनका ओहदा क्या है, वो ये पूछना चाह रहे हैं.
The name of the person who issues the ticket is called a sanitarian. And some of them that depending on their level of in the business, in the rank in the city, gonna be a sanitarian specialist. Those are the ones that deliver the tickets. But the one who actually witnesses the actual sale are called surveyors, and they are hired by a contract company called a Health Promotion Council.
Will they be testifying here today?
Mr. Levy, we need to wait for the interpreter.
No.
Pardon me.
It's okay. वो बता रही हैं कि जो इसको ये जो भी कोई अगर वायलेशन हुई होती है वो आगे देते हैं, उसको सैनिटेरियन कहते हैं, लेवल रैंक होता है, उसमें से कईयों को वो लोग स्पेशलिस्ट भी कहते हैं, और इस तरह अगर जो उस वक्त मौके पर मौजूद होता है उसको सर्वेयर कहते हैं. और जो वकील है आपके, उन्होंने उनसे आगे से जवाब दिया कि उनमें से क्या कोई आज गवाह के तौर पर पेश होगा या नहीं. Okay.
Will they be testifying here today?
वही उनसे ये पूछ.
No, they will not.
नहीं, उनमें से कोई नहीं आएगा गवाह के तौर पर.
I'd like to refer to City's Exhibit B. Do you have it in front of you, Ms. Wilkins?
मिस विल्किंस को कह रहे हैं कि जो सिटी में एग्जिबिट बी है उसके बारे में ये बात करेंगे.
I'd ask that Mr. Rulo place it on the screen. Oh, okay. Whoever has it can put it on the screen. Thank you.
Now, by looking at that ticket, Mrs. Wilkins, could you personally determine which one of your sanitarians delivered it?
ओके, इन्होंने कहा कि इस टिकट को देख के आप बता सकती हैं कि कौन से सैनिटेरियन ने इसको आगे पेश किया था.
I don't see it on the screen.
उनको भी नजर नहीं आ रहा स्क्रीन पे.
But I do have a copy in front of me.
उनके पास
The one that was
कॉपी.
dated for April 28th, 2018 was by O. Ibrahim.
Was by who?
O, the initial O, and the Ibrahim last name.
ओके, जो अप्रैल 28, 2018 को दी गई थी वो ओ इब्राहिम ने दी थी.
And do you know anything about that employee's level of experience?
ये उनसे सवाल कर रहे हैं कि आपको कुछ मालूम है कि ये जो शख्स था इसका क्या तजुर्बा था.
Ms. Wilkins?
Okay, I'm back. I don't know what happened to my connection then.
Would you like me to repeat the question?
Please.
Do you know anything about the sanitarian's level of experience for this ticket in exhibit number B? Or City's Exhibit B?
वही उनसे पूछ रहे हैं कि ये जो सैनिटेरियंस जो जाके ये देते हैं उनका क्या तजुर्बा होता है।
Is there a problem?
कोई मसला है?
It appears that there's some connectivity issues with Miss Wilkins. Oh boy.
चेयरमैन साहब ने ये बताया कि शायद कोई उनको कनेक्शन में कोई मसला है।
Miss Wilkins, are you there?
Let's do this so as not to confuse the record. Let's go off the record for about 3 minutes so we can see how we can repair this connectivity. Mr. Levy, I appreciate your patience here. We're going to go off the record and come back at 3:30.
Okay.
Let's see what. Okay. I believe Mr. Rulo, you were examining
No,
Miss Jody Wilkins.
It was
Mr.
Mr. Levy who was.
Oh, Mr. Levy, my apologies. The ball had been passed on, so I need to catch up. Okay. Mr. Levy, you were in the middle of examining Miss Jody Wilkins.
thank you, Mr. Chairman. So
Okay.
the last question I asked you about was about the city's Exhibit B. Do you still have that, have access to that?
I left it in the other room because of the internet connection.
Okay.
So,
The screen right now.
yes, so that is Exhibit B. Okay, so we were talking about the officer.
Let me ask you a
that-
question. Let me ask you a question, Ms. Wilkins. Can you personally tell who wrote that ticket?
Okay, Miss Wilkins से
Yes,
वही
oh,
सवाल
Ibrahim.
I'm sorry, let the translator translate.
Alright, ये मिस विल्किंस से वही बात कर रहे हैं कि ये जो टिकट है ये किसने लिखी है, कौन था शख्स जिसने ये लिखी।
And that's the person's name there at the bottom, is it?
और उनसे पूछ रहे हैं, इस बात की तस्दीक कर रहे हैं कि उस शख्स का नाम वहां नीचे जो लिखा हुआ है उस शख्स का नाम है।
Yes,
Ms.
it is.
Wilkins, can you tell us?
Yes, it is.
Can you tell us what level of experience this person's had? How many years they've been working for you?
और वो उनसे मालूम करें कि ये जो शख्स है इसका कितने साल का तजुर्बा है और इनके साथ कब से ये काम कर रहा था।
The gentleman was a specialist in tobacco, in our tobacco department, and they have been trained to issue tickets based on the evidence that was given to us through the Health Promotion Council. So they issued a ticket based on that evidence.
How many years has he been working for you?
Okay,
He no longer works with the city, right? I mean,
I'm sorry, translate how many, you translator, how many years has this man been working for you?
और वो उनसे मालूम करना चाह रहे हैं कि ये कितने साल से उनके साथ काम कर रहा था।
Ms. Wilkins, what's the answer?
the gentleman is no longer working with us in the health department. So, but you know, at that time he was experienced then. I'll be honest with you, he's gone for several years now. So he was here at that time and he might have been here by 2 to 3 years maybe before then.
All right.
वो शख्स अब इनके साथ काम नहीं कर रहा, लेकिन इसलिए इतना नहीं मालूम, लेकिन वो उसका पहले का तजुर्बा था, मेरा ख्याल है 3 साल या इस तरह से इनके साथ था।
Now, the date of this ticket is shown as April 28th, 2018. Is that correct?
जो डेट है यहाँ पर वो अप्रैल 28, 2018 की है और उन्होंने इसकी तस्दीक की है।
At the bottom of the ticket, there is a date that says April 30th. What is the significance of that date?
इन्होंने पूछा है कि उसके नीचे एक जो डेट है ना, तारीख लिखी हुई है, वो अप्रैल 30 की है, उसकी क्या वजह है?
April 30th of 2018 was the day that the officer went in to issue the ticket. versus April 28th, 2018 is the date that the sale to the minor occurred. So there is a processing period from the date that we're notified of the sale to the time that the ticket is actually issued.
ओके उन्होंने ये बताया है कि 28 को जो सा था वो सेल हुई थी 28 अप्रैल 2018 को और 30 अप्रैल को जो ऑफिसर है वो गया था उस टिकट को देने के लिए क्योंकि वो कहती हैं कि इसके लिए कार्रवाई डालने के लिए थोड़ा सा टाइम लग जाता है सेल मगर 28 को हुई थी लेकिन टिकट जो सा है वो 30 को दिया गया था
When the sanitarian sees the alleged offense on the 28th and then issues the ticket 2 days later, is your office somehow made aware of this violation on the 28th?
मैंने अभी ये पूछ रहे हैं उनसे कि सैनिटेरियन ने तो 28 को देखा था ना कि ये सब हुआ जो भी मतलब खिलाफ वर्जी हुई थी कानून की लेकिन 2 दिन के बाद टिकट दिया गया तो क्या आपके ऑफिस को आपके दफ्तर को इस बात की इत्तला कर दी गई थी या उन्हें बता दिया गया था कि 28 को ऐसा काम हुआ और 28 ही को बता दिया गया था
I would just interject to object very quickly. I don't believe that there's been testimony from the witness that Mr. Ibrahim was the person that was there on site on the 28th. I believe, so I just note that.
Thank you. Please interpret. My apologies.
Who's Mr. Ibrahim?
Let's let the interpreter finish.
ओके इन्होंने जो दूसरे साहब हैं जो सिटी ऑफ फिलाडेल्फिया की तरफ से उन्होंने ये बात बताई है कि मिस्टर इब्राहिम वहां पर नहीं थे और उन्होंने इस चीज की कोई गवाही नहीं दी है वो 28 को उधर मौजूद थे
Okay. The objection is noted from Ms. Rulo regarding the Miss Watkins not referencing Mr. Ibrahim as the person who actually issued it, who actually saw the violation.
So wait, just as a point of order, Mr. Chairman, the man whose name is at the bottom of this ticket is not the person that witnessed the sale?
Well, I don't believe that is the case, and that's how Ms. Wilkins expressed it earlier. But let's get the interpreter catch up with us.
All right, Mr. Chairman ने इस चीज का ये जवाब दिया है कि वो नहीं थे अगर उस वक्त उन्होंने कोई गवाही उसकी मिस्टर इब्राहिम ने नहीं दी कि वो वहां मौजूद थे और जो वकील हैं जो आपके उन्होंने इस बात को उसके आगे जिरा की है कि अगर वो इब्राहिम जिसका नाम टिकट के नीचे है तो उसने क्या ये देखा नहीं था और यही मिस्टर चेयरमैन ने उनको बताया है कि मिस विल्किंस ने ऐसा ही कुछ कहा है अब आगे देखते हैं क्या होता है
Okay.
My question is to you then, Mrs. Wilkins. Are you saying that the person who witnessed this alleged sale is not the one who signed the bottom of this form?
वकील मिस विल्किन से ये पूछ रहे हैं कि आप क्या ये कहना चाह रही हैं कि जिस शख्स ने ये सब कुछ देखा वो गवाह था उसने ये साइन नहीं किया इस टिकट पर
That is correct. The person
Who
who
witnessed
issued the
the
ticket.
Thank you. Who witnessed the sale?
Excuse me, I would object. The witness should be entitled to answer the question before there's a follow-up question.
Her answer was a yes and no answer. I asked whether the person who witnessed it was the person who signed it. She said no. That's her answer.
She has a right to say yes and then follow up, which she was beginning to do when
She didn't say yes. She said no.
Listen, time out for everybody. Allow the interpreter to catch up with us.
Okay. उन्होंने जो मिस विल्किंस है उन्होंने जवाब दिया कि नहीं वो नहीं था अभी वो कुछ और बताना चाह रही थी तो आपके वकील ने उन पर ये बात कही कि क्या आप ये कह रही हैं कि वो शख्स नहीं था वहां पर जिसने ये लिखा है तो जो दूसरे सिटी के वकील हैं उन्होंने बीच में एक ऑब्जेक्ट किया इस पे उन्होंने एतराज किया कि उन्होंने मिस विल्किंस को पूरा जवाब नहीं देने दिया लेकिन आपके वकील ने इस बात पर इसरार किया कि नहीं वो जवाब दे चुकी थी और उन्होंने जवाब ना में ही दिया अब आगे चलते हैं जैसे चेयरमैन ने कहा है
Okay. Ms. Wilkins, would you complete your answer, please?
उन्होंने मिस विल्किंस से दरख्वास्त की है कि वो अपना जवाब मुकम्मल करें
Okay, as I was stating, that the person who issued the ticket is not the witness to the actual sale. The actual sale is done via a contract agency called the Health Promotion Council with an adult and youth surveyors, they're called. They go out and attempt to buy the tobacco. And then if they do, then I am notified via email of the sale. And therefore, after that, I am processing the paperwork so that we can give it to the right owners. My staff are then assigned to go out and issue the ticket based on the violation notice that we're given via email.
So these tickets
Oh,
are
well,
not.
wait. The interpreter, please.
Thank you. Okay, इन्होंने ये बताया है कि जैसे ही उन्होंने कहा कि इस तरह से जो वो शख्स था जो सेनेटोरियम था वो वहां पर नहीं था, उसने वहां पर मौजूद नहीं था, लेकिन इनके कुछ ऐसे लोग होते हैं जिनको इन्होंने तरबियत दी होती है और उसको सर्वेयर्स कहते हैं, वो जाके लेते हैं, खरीदते हैं, फिर वो ईमेल के जरिए इनको बताते हैं और फिर ये मजीद उस पे देखते हैं कि अगर सेल हुई है तो फिर ये टिकट इशू कर देते हैं.
All right, my next question.
Yes.
So Mrs. Wilkins, on this letter, which is Exhibit A for the city, the letter that you wrote on December 27, 2019, you never spoke to any of the witnesses of these sales, is that correct?
मिस विल्किन से वो ये पूछ रहे हैं कि ये जो खत है आपने एग्जिबिट ए का है जो आपने 27 दिसंबर 2019 को लिखा था, उसमें आपने किसी भी गवाह से कोई बात नहीं की थी जिसका जवाब मिस विल्किंस ने हाँ में दिया है.
That's correct.
So you want to interpret that?
I've already done that. उन्होंने हाँ में जवाब दिया है.
So it's fair to say that you're taking the word of the private contractor as it was given to your sanitarian, is that right?
इसका ये मतलब है कि वो उनसे बोल रहे हैं कि आप सिर्फ उस बंदे की बात पर यकीन कर रही हैं जो कॉन्ट्रैक्टर था और जिसने आपके सेनेटोरियन को ये आगे से बात हुई है उसकी.
I would just interject to preserve an objection. I believe the document speaks for itself in terms of how the information is conveyed for the department. I just want to note that objection to preserve it.
I'm going to respond to that objection. The
Let's get
document
the
does not.
interpreter. The interpreter, please.
जो वकील है सिटी के उन्होंने ये एक उसमें इतराज किया है कि जो ये कागज है एग्जिबिट ए का उसमें ही सब कुछ हर बात तफसील और बिल्कुल क्लैरिटी से लिखी गई है कि इसमें क्या हुआ था.
The objection is noted.
See, the difference, the difference I wish to point out is that this document may speak for the sanitarian who got their knowledge secondhand from the private contractor, but this document does not suggest A, the training level of the private contractor, B, the identity of the private contractor, or C, their routine of preserving custody of the data until it gets to the sanitarian. So the document may speak for itself, but there's a bunch of things it doesn't talk about.
I would just note
Fair
in
enough.
response to that.
The interpreter.
Pardon.
All right, the interpreter would like you to please repeat the three things. I got the contractor was private and he had no training and the routine. There was 1 or 2 points that I missed out, sir.
The point is that the ticket does not reveal the name of the contractor or anything about the contractor.
All right, जो आपके वकील है उन्होंने इस चीज का एक एतराज उठाया है कि जो डॉक्यूमेंट है उस पे सब कुछ तो था तफसील में, लेकिन कुछ चीजें ऐसी थी जिसको वो नहीं कवर कर रहा, जैसे कि ये एक कॉन्ट्रैक्टर जो था सैनिटेरियन के पास, वो उसके पास दूसरे किसी बंदे से इसके बारे में मालूम पड़ा, जैसे हम उसको कहते हैं सेकंड हैंड मालूमात थी उसको, खुद से उसने कुछ नहीं देखा था, और वो भी एक प्राइवेट कॉन्ट्रैक्टर था जिसकी ना उसको किसी ट्रेनिंग का पता था, नाम का पता था और रूटीन का पता था, उसे कुछ मालूम नहीं था.
Again, I would just note that the document does speak for itself. It clearly says, and this, as the screen shows, sale of tobacco to minors after receiving reliable affirmation of such sale from the Health Promotion Council. So it does convey where the information is coming from and how it was conveyed.
जो वकील है सिटी के वो ये बात कर रहे हैं कि जो डॉक्यूमेंट है वो बिल्कुल अपनी जो बात है वो क्लियर कट बताना चाह रहा है कि टोबैको जो सा था तम्बाकू वो एक छोटे बच्चे को दिया गया था जिसकी वो तस्दीक करते हैं और वो ये है कि वो तमाम उन पॉलिसीज और कानून के खिलाफ है जो छोटे बच्चों की सेहत के लिए मुज़र हो सकता है।
Mr. Levy, I think your question has been answered. So I actually
Thank
please
you.
move on. Now,
Yes, I shall move
when you
on.
make your presentation, you certainly can explore other areas.
Thank you. The last question I have is this. Let's take specifically the city's Exhibit B. When this, let's just call it a ticket, was written and then brought, I guess, back, was there anything ever mailed to the license owner?
ऑलराइट वो ये बता रहे हैं कि एग्जिबिट बी के बारे में उनका आखिरी सवाल ये है कि क्या जब ये सब लिखा गया था तो जो लाइफ हेलो
Once we process the ticket from this office, after it's written, we send the original copy down to the code violations unit. They're the ones who are responsible for following up on the ticket. So if they send correspondence to follow up with that, they do it. Our office does not mail it.
Do you
मिस विल जो वकील है उनका ये सवाल था कि क्या ये मेल किया गया था लाइसेंस जिनके पास उनका मिस विल्किंस ने इसका जवाब दिया था जब एक हम जो असल होती है टिकट वो लिख लेते हैं तो हम इसको को वायलेशन यूनिट में भेज देते हैं और फिर उनकी जिम्मेदारी होती है कि वो आगे से लाइसेंस ओनर को कैसे The interpreter would like to inform that there's a lot of background noise. I don't know whether somebody's shuffling the papers or what.
Thank you. And whoever that is, please put yourselves on mute unless you're being actively engaged in this current conversation.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
This ticket that we're looking at here, Ms. Wilkins, can you see who it is addressed to?
वो मिस विल्किन से पूछ रहे हैं ये जो टिकट अभी हम देख रहे हैं ये किसके नाम पर है किसको लिखी गई है
It is addressed to Data Enterprises, Inc. The label that's in the middle is who I believe is the taxpayer at the time that we received the ticket. And so therefore that is information that the code violation unit uses to follow up on tickets. So that is something that is sent to their address once it is down to the violations unit.
So you already tested.
इन्होंने बताया कि ये डाटा एंटरप्राइजेस इंक को दी गई है और ये उस वक्त जो सबमिटेड में था वो एक टैक्स पेयर था जो नाम लिखा हुआ है इसलिए को वायलेशन यूनिट जो सी है वो इसको इस्तेमाल करते हैं जब उनको इसके बारे में पता चलता है
So you've already testified that you didn't send any correspondence out yourself, correct? Regarding
और
this
आपके
ticket.
वकील मिस विल्किन से ये सवाल कर रहे हैं कि उन्होंने ऑलरेडी पहले ही इस बात की तस्दीक कर ली है कि उन्होंने कोई खतो खताबत के जरिए या किसी तरह भी आपको कुछ भी भेजा नहीं है
That's correct.
जी उन्होंने बोला कि ये बिल्कुल दुरुस्त है
The sanitarian, as I understand it, then brings this ticket back to the retail establishment. Is that correct?
जो सैनिटेरियन है वकील का ये सवाल है कि वो ये टिकट वापस जो भी बिजनेस एस्टैब्लिशमेंट है उसके पास लाता है वापस
Once I tell them, I assign them to go ahead and issue the ticket. They issue the ticket and then they bring it back, the tickets to my office and I process them and then they're down to they are sent down to the code violation unit. So they're delivered on site and then code violation unit will proceed with further action. The only time I mail it is if we are not able to get access to the business and we've tried a couple times, then we'll mail it from this office initially so they know that they received a violation. That's the only time the mailing is usually involved from our office.
Who brought
Okay.
this ticket to the retailer? I'm sorry to interrupt. I keep forgetting.
और उन्होंने इस बात की उनसे तस्दीक की है कि जो सैनिटेरियन होता है उसको टिकट दिया जाता है। वो बोलती हैं कि जब वो टिकट दे देते हैं फिर वो उसको साइन करा के मेरे दफ्तर में लाते हैं, फिर मेरे दफ्तर से मैं उसको को वायलेशन यूनिट को भेज देती हूँ उसको। लेकिन जो एक दफा हम डिलीवर करते हैं सिर्फ उस वक्त होता है जब हम बिजनेस वालों के साथ हमारा कोई राब्ता नहीं होता, तो फिर हम इसको मेल में उनको भेजते हैं ताकि उनको आगाह किया जाए कि उनको एक टिकट मिला था।
So based on this ticket, Mrs. Wilkins, the people who, let's say, went out to deliver this ticket, who would they ask for? How would they know who to deliver it to?
वकील साहब ने ये उनसे मिस विल्किन से सवाल किया है कि जब हम इस टिकट को देखते हैं तो हम ये बोलते हैं कि जब ये टिकट जो है वो जब जाते हैं देने के लिए तो वो किसको देते हैं, किसके लिए पूछते हैं कि उसको हमने ये टिकट देना है।
The ticket, when the sale occurs, as stated before, about a notice through email tells me who violated. So how Health Promotion Council even receives the information is because we give them a list of places to go to. It's from the health department. It gives them the list. Of course, this was a permitted location. So of course we do have the right to see if they're compliant to the laws. So they go out, they ask for the tobacco based on the sale. If they violate, I receive notification. I process the information so that I know who is the owner of record at the time. When they go out, they determine, yes, if this is the correct owner, same owner, and they're issued the ticket on site. And then again, a co-violation unit will follow up once I deliver the ticket.
ओके उसमें यूं होता है कि वो ये मिस विल्किन से इस चीज का ये जवाब दिया है कि जब ये सेल होती है तो हम इसमें ईमेल करते हैं और फिर देखते हैं कि कहाँ कानून खिलाफ वर्जी हुई है, और उसके बाद हमारा जो हेल्थ डिपार्टमेंट है उसकी तरफ से एक लिस्ट दी जाती है। उस लिस्ट में देखा जाता है कि अगर उन्होंने कानून की पासदारी नहीं की है और तंबाकू को उन्होंने इस तरह से बेचा है तो फिर हम देखते हैं कि उस जगह का ओनर कौन है। जब हम इसकी तस्दीक कर लेते हैं, सब कुछ हो जाता है, तो टिकट फिर वहां ऑन साइट उसी जगह पर दी जाती है और फिर उसको वापस हमारे पास लाया जाता है जिसको हम आगे मजीद भेजते हैं उनको।
Ms. Wilkins, who was this ticket delivered to?
आपके वकील ने सवाल किया है कि ये टिकट जो सा है ये किसको दिया गया।
The ticket was delivered to the business. Whoever is on site is the one that we give it to. So if it's a clerk or a manager, whoever is on site at that time, it's delivered to the business. So it's no particular name of a person that I was told that he delivered it to. When we deliver it to the store, it's usually whoever is on site at the time to receive it. We ask for a manager, but not all the time they have managers there. So the clerk or whoever is in charge or whoever is there that is still servicing the business is open. So we give it to whoever is there.
So if they skip doing, sorry.
मिस विल्किंस का इस वक्त ये जवाब है कि जो भी उस वक्त बिजनेस पर होता है, जरूरी नहीं है कि ओनर हो या मैनेजर हो। हम पूछते हैं मैनेजर के लिए, लेकिन हर वक्त मैनेजर नहीं होता, लाइक क्लर्क होता है, कोई भी जो काम कर रहा होता है, बिजनेस ओपन हुआ होता है, खुला होता है, तो हम उसको वो टिकट सर्व कर देते हैं, उसको दे दिया जाता है।
So if the sanitarian,
interrupt, Mr. Levy, if I may interrupt, only because we have a number of other cases to hear. Can I short circuit this a bit? This is Ralph Pincus speaking.
Hello?
जो बोर्ड मेंबर है उन्होंने जो वकील हैं उनसे ये दरख्वास्त की है कि अभी बहुत सारे और केसेस भी हैं और अगर वो इसको मतलब जल्द निपटा लें तो फिर इस वजह से
I have questions for Ms. Wilkins. If Mr. Levy has additional questions, he can continue after I ask these questions.
You want to interrupt my cross for what?
I would like to know whether the owner appealed to the administrative board any of these tickets or whether any fines were paid in connection with the issuance of these tickets. from
The
Ms.
answer is no. I'll stipulate that, no, we were unaware of them.
Let's get the interpreter to interpret the question.
All right, जो Mr. Board Member एक है, Mr. Ralph, I guess I'm taking the correct name. So उन्होंने यही सवाल किया है कि क्या ओनर को इसके बारे में पता था और क्या उन्होंने कोई एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन को इसके बोर्ड को इसके कोई अपील किया हो या कोई फाइन पे किया हो, और वकील ने तो वैसे आपकी तरफ से जवाब नहीं कर दिया है कि हमें इसके बारे में कोई मालूमात नहीं थी.
I would like to hear Ms. Wilkins' answer.
Ms. Wilkins? Oh, sorry.
So I do not know the disposition of each ticket, to be honest here, because my job is generally to issue the tickets, and then it's up to the Office of Administrative Review or who and the business to dispute or pay the ticket. But we do get information from the Office of Administrative Review on what the status of tickets are upon asking. When this was pulled, these 3 tickets was pulled, that will pull within somebody else, the data department within the health department. So I was given these 3 violations that were in question. But if we needed to know what the dispositions are, we can do that research.
Okay, Ms. Wilkins ने ये जवाब दिया है कि ये हमारी जिम्मेदारी नहीं है. हमारी जिम्मेदारी होता है कि हम टिकट ले लेते हैं. उसके बाद जो भी कोई झगड़ा या कोई इख्तिलाफ राय होता है जो ऑफिस एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन का होता है उसके साथ वो उनका ताल्लुक होता है. लेकिन जब ये टिकट्स दिए गए हैं, अगर आप चाहते हैं तो हम एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन डिपार्टमेंट की जो नजरसानी हुई है उसके बारे में हम मजीद मालूमात हासिल कर सकते हैं.
Okay, let's move on, sir, because we really want to get to you presenting your case.
My case?
Yes.
Let me just finish up with Ms. Wilkins and I'll present my case as best I can.
Okay, and essentially what I'm asking is if you could wrap it up quickly, please.
Yes. Yes, certainly. So I think we've established, I'm sorry, that's got to be interpreted too.
उन्होंने वकील से जो चेयरमैन है उन्होंने उनको दिया है कि वो अपना केस दें. वकील साहब ने कहा है कि वो भी मिस विल्किन से भी मजीद बात करेंगे और फिर थोड़ा सा वो अपना केस एस्टैब्लिश मतलब बताएंगे, प्रेजेंट करेंगे.
So Ms. Wilkins, rather than going through all 3 of these violations, are you willing to testify that the same procedure as in the city's Exhibit B was also used in Exhibit C and D as well?
वकील साहब ने मिस विल्किन से ये सवाल किया है कि हम ये जितनी वायलेशंस हुई हैं, जितनी भी गैर कानूनी ये जो टिकट्स मिले हैं, क्या वो इसको एक-एक को हम इसी तरह बात करें तो वो ये कहेंगी कि जो भी ये तरीकाकार था सिटी की तरफ से बी, सी और डी में जो टिकट्स ये एग्जिबिट्स हैं उसमें ये सब कहा गया, सब वैसे ही किया गया?
Yes, I would say that all 3 violations go through the same process.
मिस विल्किंस ने इस बात की तस्दीक की है कि तीनों जो वायलेशंस हैं, जो भी ये गैर कानूनी हुआ है, उन सब का एक ही तरीकाकार था.
And in none of those cases, Mrs. Wilkins, does your sanitarium bring back a report to you that describes the person in any way that they delivered the ticket to? Is that correct?
किसी भी केस में उन्होंने मिस विल्किन से ये बात पूछ रहे हैं कि जब सैनिटोरियम आया तो उसने ऐसा कोई रिपोर्ट नहीं दिया जिसमें उस शख्स के बारे में कुछ भी बताया गया हो कि वो कैसा था या उसके बारे में कोई किसी किस्म की मालूमात दी गई हो. ये बात दुरुस्त है?
That is correct.
उन्होंने तस्दीक की है.
No further questions.
कोई और सवाल नहीं पूछना.
Mr. Rulo, do you have any further witnesses?
No, I would just ask if I could ask 2 very brief follow-ups. I will try and keep it to less than a minute, and I think I can.
Thank you. Let's wait on the interpreter.
All right, Mr. Rulo John से हैं, वो अभी छोटे से बहुत छोटे-छोटे कोई follow-ups करेंगे, ज़्यादा time नहीं लेंगे.
Ms. Wilkins, do the sanitarians receive training in terms of how they go through this process for issuing the violations?
उन्होंने मिस्टर विल्किन से यही सवाल किया है कि जो सैनिटेरियंस होते हैं उनकी क्या कोई उनको तरबियत दी गई जाती है कि ये वायलेशंस जो भी हैं इनको कैसे किया जाए, कैसे इनके लिए काम करना है।
Yes, they, oh, yes, they do.
हाँ, यस, उन्होंने उसकी तस्दीक की है।
Okay, and the information that they receive are based off of an affirmation of what occurred in terms of the minor being able to purchase tobacco at the properties. Is that correct?
और उन्होंने ये जो भी कुछ किया है उनको जब इस बात की तस्दीक हुई है कि किसी छोटे कम उम्र के बच्चे को तंबाकू की कोई चीज दी गई है, उसकी सेल की गई है, तो उसके बाद उन्होंने इस पे कार्रवाई की है।
Yes, that is correct. They do actually receive a copy of the email that I received. So they actually have the details of the sale with them that was helps dictate what tickets they need to write.
Okay. So sorry.
मिस विल्किंस ने बिल्कुल इसी तरह इस बात की तस्दीक की है कि जो मुझे ईमेल पे कहा गया मिली थी कि इस तरह से यहाँ ये हुआ है, उनके पास उसकी कॉपी होती है, उसको वो देखते हैं और फिर उसकी तस्दीक करके टिकट देते हैं।
Okay, so in the absence, final question. So in the absence of, receiving an affirmation in that manner, the department does not issue tickets for this. It relies on that, correct?
उन्होंने इस बात की तस्दीक उनसे करवाई है कि जो डिपार्टमेंट होता है वो ऐसे नहीं करता कि जब तक हमें इस बात की तस्दीक ना हो कि ऐसी सेल हुई है तो टिकट देते हैं, जब वो तस्दीक हो जाती है तो फिर टिकट मिलता है।
Can you repeat the question? I'm sorry.
So in the absence of a receipt of this, I'm sorry, I interrupted the interpreter.
It's okay, sir. मिस विल्किंस ने सवाल को दोबारा दोहराने के लिए कहा है।
So in the absence of such an affirmation, the department does not issue any violations. Is that correct?
उन्होंने फिर से सवाल दोबारा दोहराया है कि जब तक इस बात की तस्दीक नहीं होती कि ऐसा कुछ हुआ है, डिपार्टमेंट टिकट नहीं देता।
Yeah, that's correct. We don't receive that confirmation via email that a sale occurred, then my sanitarians do not issue tickets of that nature.
जी बिल्कुल, मिस विल्किंस ने इस बात की तस्दीक की है कि ऐसा बिल्कुल है, दुरुस्त है। जब तक सैनिटेरियंस को ये ईमेल इस बात की कार्रवाई की नहीं होती, वो मजीद आगे नहीं बढ़ते और टिकट नहीं देते।
Final question. In your experience, is the information that you receive from Health Promotion Council generally reliable?
उन्होंने उनसे ये बात पूछी है कि
Objection, calls for speculation.
So noted, overruled.
वकील ने इस बात पर एक ऑब्जेक्शन दिया है और जो चेयरमैन है महल उसको नहीं माना, ओवररूल किया। तो जो वकील है उन्होंने ये हेलो
Please proceed with the interpretation.
All right, thank you. उन्होंने ये सवाल किया था कि आपके जो भी है तजर्बा हुआ है जितना भी, उसमें कभी ऐसा हुआ कि जो भी आपको बात की जाती है वो तस्दीक शुदा होती है। मिस विल्किंस से ये सवाल किया।
Do I answer
Yes,
answer the
respond.
question?
Respond, yes.
Okay.
Please answer.
Oh, so refresh my memory. I'm sorry. What was the question?
Is the information you generally receive from the Health Promotion Council trustworthy, subject to Mr. Levy's objection?
वे के हेल्थ प्रमोशन काउंसिल से कोई भी जो आपको मालूमात होती हैं उन पर मुकम्मल इत्मीनान किया जा सकता है या नहीं?
Yes, it is reliable, as we also state to the people that we present the ticket to. If they think that we issued it in error, they have the ability to file an appeal, and that is generally explained from the back of the ticket what they should do.
मिस विल्किंस ने यही जवाब दिया है कि बिल्कुल ये बहुत तस्दीक शुदा होती है और हम इस पे एतबार कर सकते हैं, लेकिन अगर हमसे कहीं पर गलती हो जाए तो जिनको दिया जाता है टिकट वो बिल्कुल इसके खिलाफ अपील में जा सकते हैं अगर हमसे कोई गलती हो गई हो।
A final point that I would note, and then I'm done with this witness, is just for the purposes of the record. And that question relied on Ms. Wilkins' personal knowledge and experience with conducting these investigations and issuing this over extensive number of times. So my argument would just be, for the record, that it relies on her personal knowledge and experience rather than kind of pure speculation in terms of her understanding of the relationship and kind of process that this goes through. I just want to note that for the record. That's it.
Okay, वो सिर्फ एक रिकॉर्ड के लिए मिस विल्किन से पूछना चाहते हैं कि उनका अपना जो तजर्बा है और जो भी उनकी बात है वो उसको भी मद्देनजर रखती हैं या सिर्फ मतलब फर्जी तौर पर देख लेती हैं कि ऐसा हुआ होगा तो इस तरह से होगा, यानी कि उनका भी तजर्बा और किसी जाहिर है वो किसी चीज के मतलब तस्दीक करके वो बात कर सकती हैं. I'm sorry for the pause.
Okay. Mr. Levy, I think
One
Mr.
last
Rulo,
question. One last
Mr. Levy,
question.
Mr. Levy,
Yes.
listen to me.
Yes.
I think Mr. Rulo has completed his testimony. I'd like you to move on to presenting your case, please.
I have one more question. for Ms.
I'd like you to
Wilkins.
move on. I'm asking you to move on, please. We've extended this considerably.
Yes, I know. We've waited.
And I'm asking you to
years
move on and
bring
present
before
your
you.
case. Would you mind doing that, please?
Certainly. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Our case is that we were never notified, number one, that we had these alleged violations, and number two, that we're about to lose a valuable property right in the form of our permission or permit or license to sell tobacco products. What Mrs. Wilkins has basically testified to is that somebody, a private contractor, allegedly came out to the place. We haven't heard.
Now, Mr. Levy, you need to be able to allow the interpreter to interpret portions of what you're saying. Otherwise, she won't get it all.
All right, then let me begin again. I'm sorry.
I got everything.
Our case
Mr.
is
Levy,
that,
she said she heard everything you said. Would you let her interpret, please?
if you'd like to.
All right, thank you, sir. जो आपके वकील हैं मिस्टर लीवी, उन्होंने बताया कि जो उनका केस है उसमें ये है कि सबसे पहली बात ये है कि उनके मुताबिक उनको इस चीज की इत्तला नहीं दी गई थी कि उनके खिलाफ कोई किसी किस्म की भी वायलेशन या किसी किस्म की कानून की खिलाफ वर्जी की गई है. इसकी वजह से उनकी आपकी जो प्रॉपर्टी है उसमें एक काफी नुकसान होगा और खास तौर पर जैसे आपका लाइसेंस ले लिया जाएगा क्योंकि उसमें आपको तंबाकू के से भी जितनी भी अशिया हैं उनको उनकी फरोख्त पर कदगन लगेगी और अभी वो प्राइवेट कॉन्ट्रैक्टर की बात कर रहे थे.
Thank you. I'm going to call Mr. Rashid as my first witness.
मिस्टर रशीद, आपको वो अपना पहला गवाह के तौर पर पेश करना चाहेंगे.
Mr. Rashid, would you identify yourself to the board?
मिस्टर रशीद, प्लीज आप बोर्ड पर अपना तारुफ कराएंगे और अपनी शनाख्त करवाएंगे.
Yes, my name is Mohammed Rashid. I'm the owner of this business.
Just one thing, my apology. I just need to interpret because we have an interpreter. Mr. Rashid, I understand that you need that for communication. So we ask that you speak in Hindi to the interpreter who will speak on your relay your message to us. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Thank you. So please answer the question.
जी मिस्टर सदीक, आप हिंदी में बताएं मुझे.
मेरा नाम मोहम्मद ताहिर रशीद है और मैं इस बिजनेस का ओनर हूँ और जिस टाइम ये सेलिंग हुई थी 19 में, मैंने आपको पहले भी बताया ना कि मेरे वो हार्ट सर्जरी हुई थी, ओपन हार्ट सर्जरी.
All right, my name is Mohammed Tahir Rashid and I'm the owner of this business. And when this sale was done in 2019, at that time, I was undergoing an open heart surgery.
That's it? Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Rashid, were you aware in 2008? I'm sorry, let me start again. Mr. Rashid, do you understand that it's against the law to sell tobacco to minors?
Mr. Rashid, आप इस चीज से वाकिफ हैं कि ये गैर कानूनी बात है कि कम उम्र बच्चों को तंबाकू नोशी की कोई भी चीज दी जाए, बेची जाए?
उस टाइम पे मैंने जब ये बिजनेस दिया था तो मेरे को ज्यादा इल्म नहीं था इस चीज के बारे में, और मुझे कोई नोटिफिकेशन भी नहीं मिला था इस तरह का, तो मेरे को कोई मालूम नहीं है।
When I started this business at that time, I was not aware of this, and I was never served any kind of notification. I was not aware of it.
What are you talking? I don't understand. What? One more time. Mr. Rashid, do you have training for your employees with respect to tobacco sales?
Mr. Rashid, क्या जो आपके लिए काम करते हैं, आपने उनको कभी इस बात की तरबियत और ट्रेनिंग दी है कि तंबाकू की अशिया को कैसे बेचा जाता है?
Yes, I already trained to them कि if anybody, अगर कोई आता है तो उसकी आईडी चेक करो और माइनर को सेल नहीं करना, ये मैंने उनको वर्बली बोला था।
Yes, I've already trained them verbally that do not sell if anything of that. If a young child comes, you must check their ID before making a sale in the tobacco products.
Are you aware of any notices that were delivered to your store with about violations in 2018?
आपको
No.
किसी किस्म
नहीं, मुझे कोई मालूम नहीं था, मुझे नहीं
No.
पता चला, मुझे नहीं बताया किसी।
No, I'm not aware of it.
There,
Mr. Levy, you're muted.
2019.
Mr. Levy, you were muted part of your statement, so please do it over again, please.
Were you aware of any violations at your store in 2019?
2019 में कोई आपके स्टोर पर ऐसी गैर कानूनी कार्रवाई की हो, कानून की खिलाफवर्जी?
मार्च में मेरी ओपन हार्ट सर्जरी थी और मैं हॉस्पिटल में था और मेरी गैर मौजूदगी में ये सेल हुई थी।
Okay, in March, I had this open heart surgery and I was hospitalized for that. And this sale was done at that time.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that? I didn't hear your answer, ma'am.
Oh, in March, I was in the hospital for open heart surgery. And during that time, the sale was made.
Were you aware in September that there was of 2019 that there was a violation at your store?
आपको इस कानून की खिलाफ वर्जी की इत्तला या आपको मालूम था सितंबर के महीने 2019 में क्या आपके स्टोर पर ये हुआ?
या सितंबर में भी मैं रिलैक्स पे था, मुझे डॉक्टर ने रेस्ट दी हुई थी, तो उस वक्त भी मेरे को नहीं पता कि कब टिकट मिला है। एंड ऑफ द डे मेरे को बाद में पता चला कि 2 महीने के बाद ये टिकट मिला हुआ है।
All right. In September also, I was at rest as the doctor had suggested. And so I was not aware that there was a ticket that was given. I came to know about it when the ticket was served after 2 months of it.
Were you aware that when were you first made aware that you lost your right to sell tobacco?
आपको कब मालूम पड़ा कि आपको इस बात से अब रोका गया है कि आप तंबाकू का कोई भी चीज नहीं बेच सकते, टबैको का?
वो जब मैंने रिन्यू करने के लिए अप्लाई किया था तो उसने डिनाई कर दिया था।
When I applied for the renewal of the license, then it was denied.
So no separate letter was sent to you saying you just lost your license because you sold 3 times in 2 years. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Wait a minute. Please interpret what Mr. Levy just asked.
All right. For the interpreter's clarification, the interpreter would like to know even if the person or anyone who answers, interpreter is still supposed to interpret?
Yes, because in this instance, we are accommodating the appellant's lack of understanding of English. But if he does understand English, then we wasted our last hour or so. So the rule here is that you speak his answers. He has to wait for you to interpret.
All right, thank you, sir, for that. Yes, please, may I have the question once again, please, so that I be accurate?
You never, is it true that you never received any notice in September that you'd lost your license because you sold for a third time? Is that
आपको
true?
ये बात दुरुस्त है कि आपको इस किस्म का कोई भी नोटिस सितंबर के महीने में नहीं मिला था, क्योंकि आपने 3 दफा इस तरह जो सा है कानून की खिलाफ वर्जी की थी?
ये मेरे को कोई नोटिस नहीं मिला था।
No, I did not receive any notice.
If I may, Mr. Levy, if I may, interpreter, would you interrupt? And the letter that was issued by the city is dated December 27th, 2019. Unless I've heard something to the contrary, there would not have been any notice sent before that. And I didn't hear any testimony that there was any other notice or it was appropriate to send any other notice until the license was up for renewal at the end of 2019.
Okay.
I would adopt that as part of our.
Mr. Levy, let the interpreter, please.
Okay. आपको मिस्टर राव ने ये सवाल किया है कि आपको दिसंबर 2019 से पहले जो नोटिस दिया गया था उससे पहले कोई नोटिस नहीं मिला, जब आपको सिर्फ तब मालूम पड़ा ये बात जब आपने अपना ये जो लाइसेंस है इसको दोबारा से रिन्यू करवाया?
जी बिल्कुल।
Yes.
If I may continue, is it your testimony that violation issued in April 2018 was never received by you?
ये आपने इस बात की तस्दीक की है कि जो भी आपकी ये गैर कानूनी हुई थी उसके बारे मतलब कोई भी कार्रवाई हुई थी अप्रैल 2018 में आपने वो वसूल नहीं की? आपने
देखो कोई नोटिस 2018 में नहीं मिला, कोई नोटिफिकेशन नहीं मिली
आपको? Yes, I did not receive any notification, any violation ticket in 2018.
Then may I continue? There were violations issued in March of 2019 and again in September of 2019. Is it your testimony that you did not receive either of these violations?
इसी तरह मैं अगर मजीद आपसे पूछूं, मार्च 2019 और सितंबर 2019 में आपको खुद कोई भी ऐसी नहीं मिली थी, इसके बारे में कोई भी इत्तला या कोई बात?
या कोई नोटिफिकेशन नहीं मुझे इन दोनों के बारे में मिला था। जस्ट ओनली एंड ऑफ द मंथ दिसंबर मेरे को जब रिन्यू करना था उसी वक्त पता चला था।
All right, I did not receive any notification regarding these 2 violations, but by the end of December, I came to know it when I went for my renewal of the license.
Thank you.
Shukriya.
You're welcome.
Mr. Levy?
So, Mr. Rashid, when you applied for your license, you believed you had no violations, is that correct?
जब आपने अपने लाइसेंस के लिए दोबारा नया करने के लिए आपने दरख्वास्त डाली तो तब तक आपको बिल्कुल मालूम नहीं था कि आपके ऊपर कोई कानून की को तोड़ने की बात है?
मुझे कोई मालूम नहीं था, नहीं पता था।
I had no information about the violations.
Thank you. No further questions.
Okay, any cross-examination, Mr. Rulo?
Very quickly, 2 questions. I would just like to ask Mr. Rashid if he is the owner of this identified here, Data Enterprises.
मिस्टर रूलो की तरफ से आपको ये सवाल है कि क्या आप खुद इस चीज को आप इसके मालिक हैं, ये जो डाटा एंटरप्राइजेस हैं?
या अभी मैं इसका मालिक हूँ।
Yes, I'm the owner.
Okay, so just to clarify, you're the proprietor of this business.
और आप प्रोप्राइटर भी हैं, आपकी ही है वो सब तमाम जगह?
Yes.
Yes. I have no other questions for the witness. I would just reserve literally 30 seconds to make a quick argument, and then I subject to whatever Mr. Levy says, I think this is ready to subject to the board's decision.
I have a further question.
Yeah, well, the
Oh,
interpreter.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. मिस्टर रूलो ने ये कहा है कि इनको मजीद और कोई सवाल नहीं करना है, वो सिर्फ 30 सेकंड लेंगे कुछ बात करने के, और फिर मिस्टर लीवी ने जो भी बात करनी है करके तो फिर बोर्ड जो है वो अपना फैसला देगा। मिस्टर राल्फ का सवाल है।
Mr. Rashid, are your employees instructed to send or give to you any notice they receive?
मिस्टर रशीद, आपके जो काम करते हैं उस जगह पर, उनको क्या ये हदायत है कि अगर आपको कोई नोटिस या कोई भी मिलता है इस तरह की चीज तो वो उससे आपको आगाह करें?
बिल्कुल, मैंने उनको बोला है कि कोई लेटर मिलता है, कोई इंफॉर्मेशन होती है तो मेरे से शेयर करो। आई एम द ओनर, मुझे बताया जाए जो भी चीज हो।
Yes, I have informed them that if they receive any letter or any notification, they must share it with me because I'm the owner.
Are the people who were employed in 2018 and 19 in your store still employees?
जो आपके पास 2018 और 2019 तक लोग थे, वो क्या अभी भी आपके पास हैं?
नहीं, वो दोनों को मैंने फायर कर दिया।
No, I had fired both of them.
I'm sorry, did you say you fired both of them?
Yes, sir.
आपने, yes.
Thank you.
I do
Yes.
I have a question. Mr. Rashid, do you have managers who manage your store when you are not able to be there physically?
मिस्टर रशीद, आप क्या आपके पास मैनेजर्स होते हैं जब आप खुद जाती तौर पर वहां मौजूद नहीं होते तो वो आपका स्टोर देखते हैं?
यस, मेरे वाइफ है, वो चेक करती है, और मैं होता हूँ, वो मेरे एक एम्प्लॉय होता है, बस हम 3 पीपल वर्क करते हैं, और मेरी एब्सेंट में मेरी वाइफ उसको लुक आउट करती है।
Okay, there are basically 3 people who are there, me, my wife, and there's another person. And especially when I'm not there, then my wife, she looks after the store.
Okay, thank you. Now, thank you very much. We will now go to any closing statements that Mr. Rulo or Mr. Levy may have before we go call the vote.
उसके बाद केस बंद करने से पहले मिस्टर रूलो या मिस्टर लीवी से वो कहेंगे अगर उन्होंने अपनी कोई बात आखिरी करनी है, और उसके बाद फिर हम वोट करेंगे इस केस के ऊपर।
I will take 30 seconds here, hopefully. Let's see if that's true. I know attorneys usually lie about that, but yeah, I think the argument here, against a city affirm is essentially that a notice issue that they did not receive, the owner did not receive these CVNs, actually not CVNs, these tickets. But there's no dispute that these were issued at the property, and candidly, regardless of whether or not there was an instruction to employees to hand over tickets to the owner, that managers were on site, that it sounds like a relative, the spouse of the appellant was there.
Mr. Rulo, I'm going to ask you to just shorten it so she can interpret, then proceed. I just want to get the interpreter time to be able to get out what you said.
Yes, I'll just go ahead. Sorry.
All right, इन्होंने जो बात की है, इन्होंने इस बात से इसको खत्म किया है कि बिल्कुल जिस तरह आपने ये बताया कि जब ये टिकट्स दिए गए थे तो आपने उनको खुद से जाती तौर पर उनको वसूल नहीं किया, और इसी तरह ये जो टिकट थे ये जो कि आपने अपने जितने लोग काम करते हैं वहां पर उनको इस बात की हदायत भी दी गई है कि अगर ऐसी कोई चीज आए तो आप तक वो पहुंचा दी जाए। इसी तरह जो वहां पर मैनेजर्स थे उनको आपने कहा, आपकी जो वाइफ है वो आपके स्टोर को देखती हैं।
मैं एक चीज और बता दें कि इसकी वजह से तंबाकू ना सेल होने की वजह से मेरा बिजनेस तकरीबन 70% फिनिश हो चुका है। मेरा बिजनेस टोटली आई एम गोइंग टू लॉस।
Okay, I want to add one thing, that because of this, because of this restriction and stoppage of the tobacco sale at my store, my business 70% has gone down and I'm completely at a loss.
Okay, Mr. Rulo, please complete. Just say.
Yep, the completion here is that, ultimately this is the proprietor of the business, and if notices are delivered there, that's good notice from the city's perspective. And candidly, even if there was an instruction not to hand over notices that received, and that's not the case here. The owner is responsible for it, and if something is served on site, that's sufficient notice to the owner.
मिस्टर रूलो ने यही कहा है कि ये जो अब आपकी जो प्रॉपर्टी पर वहाँ, क्योंकि आपका ये नोटिस था, तो अगर वहाँ कुछ दिया जाता है कि सिटी के लिहाज से अगर देखा जाए तो ये बहुत अच्छी बात है। आपकी बिजनेस की जगह पर आपको नोटिस दिया गया है, जो कि आपने हदायत भी दी थी अपने साथ काम करने वालों को कि वो वहाँ पर अगर कुछ आता है तो आपको दिया जाए। तो इसलिए हम इसको ऑफिशियल या कानूनी तौर पर बिल्कुल दुरुस्त कहेंगे कि आपको नोटिस दिए गए हैं और आप ही की ये सारी जिम्मेदारी है।
Thank you. Mr. Levy, any closing comments?
Yes, yes. So as I've been hinting at throughout this case that you were so kind to give us a time for, I believe that the cigarette license is an important enough property right so that our Commonwealth Court has repeatedly supported the notion that to take away a property right like this requires normal service of process with a return of service. You don't have that here. I realize that the immediacy of how important tobacco laws are, but unfortunately, you've got people here with licenses that aren't aware that, number one, that there is an infraction, at least according to testimony, and number two, that they're about to lose a property right which could be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Mr. Levy, just want to let the interpreter catch up. Oh, that's it?
That's it.
Oh, okay. Ms. Austin?
ओके, थैंक यू सर। इसमें मिस्टर लीवी ने जो बात की है, उन्होंने ये बात कही है कि सबसे पहले तो शुक्रिया किया गया है कि उन्होंने इस केस के लिए वक्त दिया है और इस बात के लिए कि ये जो सिगरेट का एक बिजनेस है, ये बहुत जरूरी बिजनेस होता है। इसमें लाइसेंस भी होता है और ये एक तरह से आपकी एक जायदाद होती है। अगर इसको इसमें से निकाल दिया जाए, जैसे ये कॉमनवेल्थ जो कोर्ट्स हैं वो भी इस चीज को सराहते हैं कि अगर इसको निकाल दिया जाए और आपको इस तरह से इसको आगे चलाने के लिए वक्त ना दिया जाए, तो ये आपके लिए एक बहुत बड़ा नुकसान भी हो सकता है। और बहुत सारे जो यहाँ पर लाइसेंस ओनर्स हैं, वो इस चीज से वाकिफ ही नहीं है कि अगर ये लाइसेंस उनसे ले लिया जाएगा तो बिल्कुल एक ऐसा है जैसे उनसे उनकी जायदाद ले ली जाए, जैसे 100 से $1000 तक का भी इसमें खसारा हो सकता है।
Thank you. We've heard considerable testimony and arguments by both counsel regarding HA-2021-002607. We will now poll the board regarding the appeal submitted by Mohammed T. Rashid, tobacco retail license appeal, 6400 Roosevelt Boulevard. City affirmed.
City affirmed.
City affirmed.
Thank you very much, Mr. Levy and Mr. Rulo. The position of the board is city affirmed. Thank you very much for your participation on the difficult circumstances. Ms. Austin, Mr. Rashid, thank you so much for your patience.
Thank you, sir. Now we are allowed to leave, sir.
Yes, please inform Mr. Rashid what the outcome is.
Okay, Mr. Rashid, दोनों ने ये जो members थे, board members ने इन्होंने जो किया है, वो इसकी तस्दीक की है, affirm किया है इसको, और बहुत शुक्रिया आपका।
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. What does it mean? Is it going to be renewed?
No, and further, he should talk with his attorney, who will give him further detail.
आप अपने attorney से अपने वकील से बात करें, वो आपको मज़ीद तफसीलात दे देंगे. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Chairman, that completes my business. May I please be excused?
Yes, sir. We don't need to interpret that. Thank you. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you.
Okay. Next case.
Okay, all right. So.
I think it's case 11. I don't think we had any
Yes.
information as the water department.
No, that's it. Case number 11, appeal number HA-2021-004540. Stephanie Bennett, 5315 Jackson Street.
Okay, who's representing the city in this matter?
Good afternoon again, Chairman Woodson. This is Alexandra Athanasiadis on behalf of the city, and my witness for this matter, Chairman, will be Ms. Tamika Warren, who is logged in currently.
Okay, is anyone here representing the property itself? 5315 Jackson Street.
Yes, I did see the
Stephanie
property.
Bennett. Yeah, she's here. She's muted.
Okay, Ms. Bennett, would you unmute yourself?
Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Bennett, you the owner of the property? Okay, we can't hear you. We can't hear you. Can't hear you. Okay.
My laptop.
Okay. Would you put your laptop on mute and then talk through your phone? Okay, now speak through your phone. I can't hear you.
Unmute your laptop, whatever reason.
Unmute the laptop. Maybe that'll help.
Laptop is unmuted.
Okay, now we can hear you.
So should
Hold
I
your
hang
phone,
up this
hold your
phone?
phone closer to your mouth, because it appears that you're,
Should I hang up the phone or talk into the?
No. Keep it exactly the way it is. Just turn the volume up on your phone.
It's at its max.
Okay, we'll have to just talk slowly so that we can hear you because it's really light.
Is that any better?
Not really, but we'll proceed. We're going to try to get through this, okay? Now you out completely. We don't hear you at all. We can't hear you. Put it back on conference call. We don't hear you. Put it back on conference call. Can you put it back on conference?
I'm on conference.
Now we can hear you. Now we can hear you. We can hear you now.
I'm very fearful that you're not going to hear everything I need to say, and it's very important to me. So how can we fix this laptop?
I don't know how we can fix your laptop, but what we're going to do is we're going to walk through this slowly, and we will pay attention to what each of us is saying and we will get through it, okay?
and we are hearing you better when you speak with the phone, when you speak to the back of your phone instead of the front.
Is that better?
Yes.
Okay,
Okay. Now, first question, ma'am, are you the owner of the property?
I am, yes.
Anyone else on the deed with you?
No, sir.
Okay. Would you raise your right hand so I can swear you in? Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you give today be the truth so help you God?
Absolutely, yes, I do.
Okay, now this is how we will proceed. You can place your hand down. The city of Philadelphia will begin and present its case. You will then be invited to provide a response, after which we will then vote to determine the outcome, okay?
Okay, now this is our second hearing. You had continued this from previous.
Okay, but I'm saying that what will happen is that the city will start with that and let us know what we've done before, then we will get to the end of this, okay? City, please proceed.
Hey, yes, Chairman, this matter had been continued. The original listing date was back in October 2021. At that time, the board heard testimony from Inspector Anthony Meyers, who testified that he performed the dye test on December 26, 2019, and issued the appellant, Ms. Stephanie Bennett, a notice of defect for her lateral for her property located at 5315 Jackson Street. Then the appellant testified that she had several conversations with Ms. Tamika Warren, and that Ms. Warren allegedly told her many things, including that her lateral was not broken. At that point, the board ordered the city to investigate and speak to Ms. Warren and advised the property owner to obtain a plumber to investigate, and continued the matter for 60 days. And here we are again before the board. If the chairman and the board would like, I can revisit the defect notice and go through that very quickly. You previously heard testimony, but I understand it was back in October, so I leave that up to the board.
Let's do this first.
Yes.
Do you know the outcome of the communications between the city and Ms. Warren?
Yes, I have Miss Warren here to testify directly, Chairman.
Let's start with her then.
Okay. Miss Warren, would the chairman would like to swear her in?
Yes, and I need to see her image.
She's on the screen.
For some reason, I'm not seeing her, but my apologies. It may be on another page. Okay, Ms. Warren, you raise your right hand. Okay. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you would give today be true so help you God? I'm not hearing Ms. Warren. It's not coming through at all. I'm not hearing Ms. Warren.
Miss Warren, Tamika, we can't hear you. You've just muted yourself.
And she just needs to speak closer to the device, whatever she's using.
I don't see her image either.
Okay, she may be on page 2, ma'am. You can go, there are multiple pages.
Ms. Warren, can you speak? Can we hear you, Ms. Warren? No.
Can we go off the record a second, Chairman?
Okay, yes, we will go off the record for until 5:40.
4:40?
4:40, my apologies. 4:40, we'll come back on the record.
Tamika, are you on your laptop?
Miss Alexandra, please
Yeah.
mute yourself, then,
Oh, I'm sorry.
and then you can call her directly.
Hello? Hello?
Yeah, who is this?
Joe Williams.
Okay, we aren't ready for you yet. We got a couple cases ahead of you, so just be patient
How long,
with us.
how long is this going to be open?
Until we get through. We run until we hear them all. So we got 2 or 3 more before you'll hear it, I believe.
Oh my God. I've been on the phone since 1.
We've all been here since 1. So
sir, I have to go to work. I have to work. Y'all
Miss-
working. Y'all making money.
Mr. Williams, all I can say to you is
Right.
that we have a case ahead of you, and as soon as we can get you, we will. We'll do everything we can to get to you.
I'm fine with mine
There's
being.
no way I can get a continuum.
Hear his
Not
case.
at this point, sir. No, we'll hear you in a minute. I'm right in the middle of another case.
I've been on the phone.
Sir, I'm in the middle of another case, so I can't engage you right now.
But I've been on the
Okay, let's
phone
go
for
back
3
on the
4
record.
hours.
Please mute Mr. Williams, please.
If you want to
Okay.
continue mine, because I am very long-winded, I don't
Uh,
mind at all.
No, we aren't going to do that, and you aren't going to be long-winded tonight. We'll just ask for very specific questions, and you give us short answers. That's how we're going to proceed.
Possible, but,
Okay, but it is, or else we'll just mute you.
well, first of all,
Okay.
I'm not going to be rushed.
Let's
like that. I
do
want
this.
time to speak.
Let's do this. We're going to give you a fair hearing, but you have to pay attention to how we operate. You will not have carte blanche to just give a long soliloquy. We will answer directly to any questions put to you, and you will offer very specific and succinct information. That's how we operate. Because as you've heard, we have a number of people behind you who have been waiting as well.
And I don't
Okay.
want to be rushed, so.
You will be. I'm saying that you have to get prepared for that. Okay, let's move on. Can we now hear back on the record? Ms. Warren, are you available to us? Alexander, you're muted.
I'm on the phone with her, Chairman, because she's indicating she can hear us. So I'm telling her to raise her volume, because I don't know why we can't hear her.
Okay. Can you put your phone on conference?
Yes, let me, wait, give me 1 second.
Yeah.
Tamika? Hold on. Okay, can you hear us? Okay, I'm trying to get the speaker function to work. Chairman, wait, Tamika. Okay, if I have her like this, can you hear that? Because the speaker function isn't working, so I have her just like this and I can put her near the speaker.
We have a court reporter who must hear what she's saying. So
You have to put her on the speaker on your phone. If you put her on the speaker of the phone, your phone, we should be able to hear her.
That's what I'm trying to do. And for some reason, it's not working. Let me try with my cell phone. Just give me a
okay.
second.
Okay.
Okay.
Meantime, do you want to hear my side maybe?
No. There's a set procedure here. Just be patient.
Okay. Just trying to keep things moving.
Tamika? Yes. Chairman, can everyone hear her?
Let me check with the court reporter. Court reporter, are you able to hear Ms. Warren speak?
Can I just have her speak again?
Hey,
Have
Ms.
her-
Warren?
Miss Amos, you may have to turn your speaker off on your laptop. There you go.
Ms. Warren?
Have her introduce herself.
Where's her phone?
She's not speaking into the phone. We can't hear.
I guess, Miss, unmute yourself again.
Yes. Tamika? Please keep the phone close to your mouth and have it on the highest volume setting so everyone can hear you.
Maybe she needs
A lot
to
of feedback.
maybe she needs to mute her camera. I don't know.
Yeah, she
Thank
mutes
you,
her.
Mr. Pincus. Yes, Tamika, please mute your laptop and just speak through your phone. Let's try that. No one can hear her? Ugh.
No. And what if you use her office phone? If you called her office phone, would that be her landline?
Let me try that. Because I don't believe. 685-2624. Okay. Let me try that. Okay. Hello.
Alexandra, I can't pronounce your last name. Unmute yourself.
Can you hear her now?
Ask her to introduce herself. She's going in and out. Okay, Miss McDonald, can you hear that?
I hear the same thing. I hear it going in and out.
Okay, this isn't going to work. We're going to have to continue this. Miss Stephanie, your case, in order to give you a fair hearing, everyone needs to hear one another and be able to communicate. That is not happening currently. And so we have no choice but to continue this until next week. I'm sorry, week after next code hearing. Yes, ma'am.
So wanted the first, so I don't sit on the phone for 5 hours.
We will make you one of the first, so we don't have to hold you any longer than necessary.
Much appreciated.
Okay, thank you very much. Please note for the record that this matter is being continued because of technical difficulties. Thank you.
Wait a minute, Mr. Chairman, wait 1 second. Ms. Bennett, in the meantime, you need to figure out how to make your system work as well. So you're not moving between your iPhone and your iPad. You need to be so we can hear you easily.
Well, I've done the Zoom with you guys before. You're the only people that I've ever done Zoom with. And in the bottom left-hand corner, it says mute or unmute. And I've done both and you can't hear me on there. I'm going to hang this phone up just out of curiosity to see if it will work. Give me one.
Okay, but we need to move on. We got other people coming behind you. We've continued this matter, so have a good afternoon. We have to proceed. Move on. All right, thank you. What do we have next?
Anyone.
Case
We're
43.
moving on. We have to move on to the next case.
I just wanted to see if you could hear me.
But we don't have time to test it. We have to move on.
So you
We're pressed for
heard me.
time.
Thank you.
Okay, what's the next?
Case 43, bill number HA 2022-0000-346 666 North 52nd Street, Tanya Hand.
Okay, who's representing the city in this matter?
Hi, this is Christopher Johnson for the city of Philadelphia.
Okay, and who's representing the appellant?
This is Sherry Thomas with the Legal Clinic for the Disabled for Tanya Hand.
Okay, thank you very much. Is there going to be any witnesses today? Will there be any witnesses?
Yeah, I have one witness. It's Inspector Brett McDonald from L&I.
Okay, let's swear that person in.
And I believe Ms. Hand, is she going to testify?
Yes, Ms. Hand will testify briefly.
Well, she might as well come on and we can swear her in at the same time. Is Ms. Hand available?
Ms. Hand is on the call by telephone. She's currently muted. Ms. Hand, if you can hear me, can you please unmute?
Okay, let me swear in Mr. McDonald at least. Mr. McDonald, do you swear or affirm that the testimony you shall give today will be the truth so help you God?
Yes.
Okay, in the meantime, we will proceed with Mr. Johnson. And Ms. Thomas, you can try to connect with your client to get her to unmute herself. Mr. Johnson?
Yeah, this is an appeal of a cease operations order at 666 North 52nd Street. Ms. Hand, the appellant, is a tenant in the property on the second floor. It's a mixed commercial and residential property. Mr. McDonald, the inspector, has inspected the property, but just so the situation is clear, Ms. Hand is claiming that her landlord, because of a landlord-tenant dispute, is trying to get her ejected from the property by letting L&I cease the building, but there were significant issues to the health and safety of Ms. Hand due to condition of the property. And I'm going to call Mr. McDonald now to talk about the property.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. McDonald, can you please state your name for the record?
Inspector Brett McDonald, License and Inspection, West Operations District.
And how long have you been an inspector, sir?
I've been inspector now since 2013.
Have you had a chance to inspect the property at 666 North 52nd Street?
Yes, sir.
Can you describe the property for us?
The property is a mixed-use property. On the first floor is a business, and on the second floor is apartment.
And tell us what the violations that gave rise to the cease operations order are.
The property does not have any heat or electricity.
And was it designated as unfit?
Yes.
I'm going to show you some pictures now that were taken at the property. If the police board, can I share my screen?
Yes, please.
This is what is going to be marked as City Exhibit 1 through 5. Can you all see the pictures?
Yes.
Mr. McDonald, can you describe for us the situation we're looking at in the picture?
This is on the first floor landing before you go up the steps to the second floor apartment. And the tenant is running a extension cord from the first floor landing all the way up to her bedroom in the second floor apartment.
And
it's plugged into a space heater.
Are the extension cords that are running, are they in good condition?
When no, it doesn't look like it was taped up and stuff.
And I'm scrolling down to the next photograph.
I may interrupt before you proceed, Mr. Johnson. I see a date on that photograph. I just want to be able to confirm, is that the date these pictures were taken? The date I see on the photograph is 2/4/22.
Yes.
Mr. McDonald, you took these photographs?
Yes, I took the photographs on that date. Yes.
And that was on Friday, sir?
That was Friday, yes.
Or Thursday? Thursday, would that have been?
The 4th, I think that was that a Friday? Yes, I think that was a Friday.
All right. What's the next photograph showing us?
That's just the extension cord going all the way up to the steps, going up the steps.
And this is the third photograph. What does this show?
That's the extension cord is going up the steps. If you probably go back, you will see I took a picture of it also going through the hallway, and it comes all the way to the back room where she sleeps at, plugged into the space heater.
Is that the only heat that she has in the apartment?
Yes, sir.
And these other photographs, do they just trace the extension cord?
Yes. Yes.
Is that single extension cord, is that the only power that she has that supplies her whole living needs?
Yes, sir.
How many appliances does she have plugged into the cord? Did you notice?
All I thought was the lamp, and then it went all the way up into the heater. I didn't see it plugged in anything else. The space heater.
Did she have any refrigerator or anything in the apartment?
Yes, she did.
Was that in working order? Was it plugged in?
No, that wasn't plugged in.
All right. So if you could describe, like, were there other violations prior to your inspection that have been complied lately?
No, no other violations has been complied.
Okay. Have you had a chance to talk to the owner of the property?
I talked to the owner in the beginning. Yes, I have.
So, to your knowledge, have they done any work to bring the property into compliance?
No, not at all.
And does the premises present a danger to the health and safety of the occupants of the building?
Yes, to my knowledge, yes, because we've been having a very cold winter and it's freezing out and there's no heat she has no heat at all. Well, now she has since the space heater, but I don't think she should be able to stay there because there's no electric as well.
So is there water service in the property?
I think it's water service, yes.
And I'm going to ask that the city exhibits, the pictures 1 through 5, be admitted at this time.
So noted. It's admitted. Mr. Johnson is the owner of the property advised to the hearing, and is he present?
He's not involved in this action.
Okay.
So Mr. McDonald, when was the cease supposed to take place?
The cease was supposed to take place on I think was the 28th of January.
The 28th of January?
Yes.
And as of today, has the property been seized?
No, the property has not been seized.
And was the city holding off due to the fact that she had filed for an emergency hearing?
Yes, sir.
I have nothing further.
Okay. Mr. McDonald, how many individuals live in the residential space in that property?
Well, only thing, I think it was just her and her daughter up on the second floor.
How many units in that building?
I think it's 3.
3 units, only 1 occupied?
I think it's 1 occupied, yes.
Okay. And is the commercial space occupied?
The commercial space is occupied, but when I was there, they was on vacation or something. They were closed.
They were closed on the 4th when you went over to take those photographs?
Yes.
Do you know what kind of business is that?
I don't remember offhand.
Well, I mean, give me a category. Is it a market or is it a barber shop? Is it an auto repair?
It's not an auto repair. It's just I think it's like a regular store that sells supplies and stuff like that. A little small store.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Ms. Thomas, you have any cross-examination?
Yes, just briefly.
Ms.
Thank you.
Thomas Ms. Thomas, is your client present?
She is present. She is appearing by phone because she does not have a smartphone and does not have access to Zoom. I have asked Ms. Richardson to administratively unmute her, but I believe there's some technical difficulties and she wasn't able to do so. So Ms. Hand is present and I would like to take testimony from her, but I'm not really sure how to do that with
Well, you're gonna have to.
There you go.
Hello?
There she is.
Oh, she's here now. Okay. I was not able to do that.
Hi.
But she was able to unmute herself.
Okay. Okay, Ms. Thomas, you were in the middle of cross of Ms. McDonald.
Yes.
Starting cross.
Yes, Inspector McDonald, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
You stated that the tenant had an extension cord going up to her bedroom. Was that the tenant action? Is that what you assume?
I don't know who action it was, but I just took pictures. So it might have been the landlord, it might have been hers. I'm not sure.
And you observed that the business on the first floor was closed. Did you observe whether the business on the first floor had electricity?
Well, from what I heard from the owner was telling me that the second floor doesn't have electricity because he had to get electrical work done that costs a certain amount of money. This is what the tenant told me as well. And he was saying that he has to get the money up to take care of the electrical so Ms. Hankman can have electric up on the second floor.
And so it's the owner's contention that it's his action that has caused this condition.
Now, that's from what he told me. Yeah, pretty much, yes.
And Inspector McDonald, at the time the cease was issued, was there running water at the property?
I think it was, yes.
No further questions.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Johnson, anything else?
Just as a follow-up regarding the cord again, is that a violation of the fire code?
Can you repeat that?
The using the space heater through the extension cord like that as the sole source of heat for the apartment, is that compliant with the fire code?
No, there's no extension cord supposed to be used.
And is that compliant with the electrical code?
No.
Nothing further.
Mr. Johnson, I do have a question. The cease operations that you've proposed, would that cover the whole building, including the commercial space?
I believe the only part of the building that doesn't have electrical is that apartment. And so the city was only going to cease that apartment.
Okay, thank you.
And so it was not going to affect the commercial space.
Okay, thank you. All right, Ms. Thomas, you may proceed with your case.
Ms. Hand, can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
I'll need to swear her in then. And before I do that, Ms. Thomas, can you confirm for the record that we're in fact speaking with the appellant in this matter, Ms. Tanya Hand?
Yes, for the record,
Yes.
Ms. Hand is appearing by telephone due to her inability to access Zoom, and she is speaking on her behalf today.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Hand, I will swear you in. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give today be the truth so help you God?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, Ms. Thomas,
Mhm.
please proceed.
Ms. Hand, how long have you been living in the property?
Almost 2.5 years.
And you heard Mr. Inspector McDonald testify that there is a first floor that is functioning. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay, and what is
Yeah.
on the first floor?
It's a herb store and it's 2 apartments on the side.
And are those apartments occupied?
Yes.
And to your knowledge, do those apartments have running electricity?
Yes.
And Are the tenants in those apartments tenants of your landlord?
Yes.
Okay, Ms. Hand, did you call L&I?
Yes.
Okay, and why did you do that?
Because I had no electric and no heat.
Were there any other reasons?
He turned off the hot water.
Okay, and what did you hope would happen when license and inspection came to the property?
Just to give him a warning or just for him to fix it.
Since you called license and inspection, have there been any improvements in the property?
He's just running the cord right now and he bought me a heater. That's about it.
What about the water?
Yes, it's running.
Did you take your landlord to court for these conditions?
Yes.
And what did the court order him to do?
To fix the problem.
And Ms. Hand, can you please tell the board, I represent you from the Legal Clinic for the Disabled. Ms. Hand, are you disabled?
Yes.
Okay, can you please let the board know what disabilities you suffer from?
I just got 2 brand new knees.
Okay, and how does that affect
And
your?
from asthma, high blood pressure.
And how does that affect your day-to-day living?
I'm okay, as long as I keep myself together, I'll be fine.
Do you experience pain due to knee replacements?
Could you repeat that, please?
Sorry, do you experience pain due to the knee replacements?
Yes.
And swelling?
Yes.
Do you receive help from anyone to take care of yourself?
Nope.
And Ms. Hand, if you are removed from the property, will you have anywhere to live?
Nope.
On that notice, license and inspection stated they would provide information for the Office of Homeless Services. Are you able to go into a shelter?
No.
And why is that?
Because you have to be in there, so you have to basically walk around, look for work, look for housing. And my doctor told me, well, I did childcare for 16 years, and my doctor told me I would never stand again. So me walking too far, I had to sit down for a minute or use my cane.
Okay, no further questions, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Any cross-examination, Mr. Johnson?
Yes, please. Ms. Hand, were you at a hearing? Did you appear at a hearing in your case against your landlord?
Yes.
Do you recall who the judge was?
No, I didn't. No, I don't. I'm sorry.
You said that the judge ordered the landlord to take some actions in the property. Is that correct?
Yes.
And what specifically was the judge ordered to do? Or what specifically was your landlord ordered to do?
Basically at our hearing, she basically stated that that I have heat and electric. So I'm in the process of moving anyway, but right now I need to stay where I'm at because of the fact that my disability and I have nowhere else to go, and I'm just dealing with the court right now. So
So is there another hearing scheduled in that case?
No, not that I know of.
Right. You said that you were in the process of moving. When are you moving?
I've been looking, and I talked to Turn. They told me find something and they'll pay for it. I have a housing rep. When all this first started going about, I already had all my plans ahead of time. It just was the process because of the COVID. So that's what stopped my housing. But like I said, my housing rep, she called me earlier when I was talking, listening to the line, the video. So she been calling me about houses and stuff. So it's a matter of time I'm leaving. I just need to be here until I can find another place because I don't have nowhere else to go. So it's like a matter of time. I'll be out of here as soon as possible, like a month. I just need a little bit more time.
Are you current on the rent you owe to your landlord?
No, I'm not currently paying him. No, I stopped paying him because I found out he didn't have rental license and he was taking my money, not giving me receipts. And
So just with that, you've been saving your money so you could move?
yes, basically yes. That's the only income I have because I can't work right now. Only can do certain hours with my disability, and that's not even worth it. That's not enough hours for me to work. So I just live off of that one income a month.
Okay,
And I've
so
been had to buy what I had to buy, like candles, and try to do things to get light and stuff like that on my own. No help from him at all.
so
Who's Mr. Johnson? Just
how do you,
who's the him that's being referenced? I'm just not clear.
Ms. Hand, can you
Ms. Hand?
clarify who you're referring to?
What you mean?
Who's your
When I
landlord?
say him,
Yes, who is him?
I'm sorry, my landlord,
And what is his name?
Miss Scott Williams.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Hand, you were testifying about being able to move out. Have you located a new place to move to?
Not exactly. Like I said, I already was on housing listings, and I have a house I have to call tomorrow. It's close by where I want to be at. I got several opportunities lined up. So I'm not going to be here that long anyway.
How and I think what I'm getting at here is what you've known about this problem. And when was the last time you had electric in that apartment?
Well, last time I had electric was like in April, like of last year. I've been here 9 months like this, and it's just been that long. And ever since that started happening, that's when I had called for a case manager, and they set me up with housing, and they just was like trying to find me somewhere to go. But the COVID, and then my housing rep, she wound up catching COVID. She was in a hospital, so that's what stopped my housing. But to now, I'm a priority, they said.
I have nothing further.
Ms. Hand, just a few questions. When did you stop paying rent?
I stopped paying him 2019 because I
2019?
found out he had no rental license and he never gave me receipts. So
Okay, and
I stopped paying him
how much was your monthly rent at the time that you stopped?
$450 a month.
$450 a month? Okay.
Yes.
Alrighty. Now, when you moved into the property, did you have heat and water and electric?
Yes.
Okay, that was all operating when you moved in.
Yes.
Okay. Now, do you regularly leave the property to purchase food or other things?
Yes.
Okay, so you're able to navigate the stairs even with your knees.
Yeah, I still maintain. I still live and eat healthy and whatever. Yeah, I still do what I gotta do for myself.
When was your knee replacement surgery? When did that happen?
It happened in 2018.
2018 was your replacement surgery? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. I guess, and now the outcome of the case, I mean, I don't know if Ms. Thomas, are you her counsel for that case in Commonwealth Court, I guess, or Common Pleas Court?
In Common Pleas, yes, I was.
You was. So what is the status of that? I mean,
But
is
the
there
status
things?
of that, there is an order. The landlord was ordered to restore water to the property within 48 hours, which he did. So at the time of the cease, there was no water to the property. The order also ordered the landlord to comply with any code enforcement. And I have been in touch with the landlord's attorney, who has said that the landlord has reached out to PICO to get the ball rolling on the electricity. So at this point, our position is that the cease, we're asking for a postponement of the cease order to go into effect so that Ms. Hand would have a little bit more time to locate housing, and or we can work with the landlord's attorney to get these things repaired. We understand that the extension cord is a temporary fix
Okay.
for something that needs to be done.
Let me, I'm not clear what PICO has to do with the landlord repairing the electric.
Well, Pico, I called Pico several times, and they stated to me that he needed new boxes. And like I told him, when the electric went off, it went off because his bill was $2,000, and he said that he's not paying all that money to get it on. So what happened was I turned around and called Pico to put it in my name, and he rejected. He said he didn't want nobody to go in the basement.
Miss Hand, were you paying Pico monthly last year up until April
No.
2019?
No, it was in his name.
Okay. Yeah, they
I
never
only pay
transferred.
rent.
Okay, they never transferred
Yeah.
it. Okay.
No.
Okay.
Hey, could I ask Miss Thomas, could you submit a copy of the order for the board to make it part of the record?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
I guess I'm a little confused. What is it? I mean, this sounds like, you know, one of those, there's a term, whatever it is, that you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. So we're hearing the case, and what is it that would be a resolution that this board could affect that deals with obviously a housing problem of Miss Hand and a landlord who's not making his property compliant with the city codes. So, and it sounds like Miss Hand has been dealing or living with this situation for months, and now we're in the middle of a winter and there's no heat or electric in her unit, and she hasn't been able to get out. I guess I'm a little troubled by the situation having reached this point without somebody being able to intervene and give some relief, either get out of the property or get these conditions ameliorated.
Yes, Mr. Yes, Mr. Pincus, I'm right there with you on that. Ms. Hand did contact, she has been trying to deal with this situation on her own without legal services for a long time. As soon as we received the case, we filed an emergency injunction to ameliorate the situation. I've been in contact with the landlord's attorney in an attempt to fix the situation as well. My bottom line is I do believe that Ms. Hand called License and Inspection to receive help on this problem, and now we're in the situation where she is going to become homeless because of actions of the landlord, which I think are categorically unfair. Since we went to court, the landlord has made some improvements to the property. He is the one that provided the extension cord. He is the one that has provided the space heater, and he is the one that has turned all of the water back on and made all of the requisite repairs. So what I'm asking for this board is to allow us to continue those conversations. We have an order from CCP, which I will file a contempt on as another push for this landlord to fix the issues.
It sounds to me, if Ms. Hand is accurate, that the landlord, if he pays the $2,000 that he owes Pico, they will cooperate tomorrow and either putting the electric in her name or reestablishing a connection to that property.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, Ms. Thomas, did you exhaust all of your opportunities with the court to take action against this landlord? My concern now is that you have a tenant who tonight could find herself in a dire life or death situation if that extension cord overheats and that space heater has a problem. That is not a good thing. She's in a really bad situation. That space heater is not a solution.
I don't believe it is a permanent solution.
I mean, it is not even a temporary solution for this kind of circumstance. She's living upstairs with bad knees and a space heater. That is using an extension cord. You never plug a space heater into an extension cord. You always have to plug it into the wall.
Well, yes, we are stuck between a rock and a hard place. Here's the situation is that, I understand this board's primary concern is safety. And what I'm saying is that if the cease were to go into effect tomorrow, Ms. Hand would be more unsafe outside of the property because she will be homeless than if
She would be in a shelter. I mean, the shelter system is designed for this kind of temporary situation. Are you suggesting that there's no shelter space for her?
No, I'm suggesting that it would be difficult for her to be in the shelter.
Oh, it'll be difficult. There's nothing that we can do to make it not difficult, but it would be safe and it would be warm and she would be fed. Unless there's something I'm missing here.
No,
Okay.
Ms. Hand has testified that she cannot go into the shelter system because of the requirements that she be out during the day for the entire day.
Okay, and there's no options for her at all that you as an attorney in this circumstance can help with a person who's disabled or has a particular disability.
No, unfortunately, we don't have social services on our staff. So this is what I've been doing is pursuing all appropriate legal remedies. Now, Ms. Hand does have social workers that are working with her, but as you heard her testify, there's been delays in that housing. Now, she's now become a priority. So what I'm asking is that this board allow the cease to be postponed for 30 to 60 days so that there's no gap in housing for her to be moving into a new property.
Okay, any additional questions?
I'm very frustrated that this situation seems to be one that's been around since April. How long have you been involved in this case, Ms. Thomas? With Ms.
Since the end of December, Commissioner.
And Ms. Hand doesn't have any friends or family she could stay with for a month?
No.
Okay, was someone living with you initially or you've always lived alone?
Always lived alone.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Anything else from anyone?
I mean, I'm just going to make an argument on behalf of the city here because, we've seen dangerous conditions in Ms. Hand's apartment can affect all of the other people in the building and all of the people in the neighborhood. If there's a fire during this cold weather streak due to the electrical situation in that apartment, there's 2 other occupied units in that building. There's a commercial space. It's in a densely populated area. It's going to affect the whole area. And I do appreciate the fact that it is going to be a hardship if the cease is imposed and Ms. Hand has to vacate the property. But unfortunately, this situation's been going on for a long time, and it's not good for her to live in that property either. Her life is at stake, sleeping in that house every night.
Ms. Hand, there was testimony earlier that your daughter lived with you one time?
Yes. She's my caretaker. She's my caretaker.
Your daughter's your caretaker?
Yes.
Where does she
reside?
reside?
She basically, I've been the one helping my children. None of them is really stable.
Okay, I'm saying that daughter who's your caretaker, where does she reside? What is her? She have an address?
No.
Okay, none of your children have addresses?
No. Nope.
How many of them are there?
5.
And okay, all right, thank you. I think I've heard enough. Is anything else from anyone in terms of general argument or questions? So before we rule on this matter. Okay, if not, with regard then to HA-2022-000346, Tanya Hand, 666 North 52nd Street, city affirmed.
Reluctantly, city affirmed.
City affirmed.
City affirmed. And Ms. Thomas, we do this simply because we have no choice. We do not want Miss Hand to be a statistic tomorrow morning. She really needs to leave that property as quickly as she can. It is not safe for her to be there. It's a bad situation. And Ms. Hand, I really feel for you in your circumstance, but it is not the solution you're using now is not a solution that works at all. Thank you all for your participation. Have a good night. Okay, what's next? Now, this Jackson Street is listed. I thought that was not going to be given a special.
He apparently showed up.
But we don't have, we aren't, this is.
Chairman, this was given approval for an emergency hearing, but he tried to get that continued and that was
okay.
denied.
Okay, my apologies. Okay, let's call the case then.
Case number 44, appeal number HA-2022-000373, Robert Nicotera, 1903 Jackson Street.
Okay, who's representing the city?
It's good evening, Amy Skiles on behalf of the city.
Okay, thank you. Is Mr. Nicotera present?
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay, thank you very much. We will begin by Ms. Skiles presenting the city's position, and then we'll get to you, Mr. Nicotera.
Is I do have one witness, Inspector Brian Conaway. He is on the call.
Okay, thank you. When you're ready, I'll swear him in. Oh, he's there. Mr. Conaway, raise your hand, please, so you may be sworn again. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give with the truth to help you God?
I do.
All right, thank you. Okay, Ms. Skiles.
Yes. Okay. Okay, Inspector Conaway, where are you currently employed?
City of Philadelphia, Department of License and Inspection,
Okay, and how long have you been employed there?
5.5 years.
Okay, and what are your duties at LNI?
I'm a Fire 2 inspector. I'm responsible for inspecting all existing structures for fire code, zoning, and property maintenance violations.
Okay, and are you familiar with the property at 1903 Jackson Street?
I am.
And how are you familiar with that property?
It came up on the inspection process for auto repair license that wasn't obtained.
Okay, and did you have an opportunity to visit and inspect that property?
I did.
And when did you initially inspect that property?
On December 14th, 2021.
Okay, and could you describe the property for the board?
It's a mixed-use property with an auto repair shop on the first floor, residential on the second. At the time of the inspection, the older gentleman was on the exterior repairing cars. The interior was very cluttered.
Okay, and what violations did you find during your inspection?
Well, the initial violation was to obtain an auto repair license. There are also some fire code violations on the property, to post no smoking signs throughout the property, the disposal of oil waste, safety data sheet containers, fire extinguishers need to be tagged, fire extinguishers need to be present, and they also need to be mounted.
And what, go ahead, Mr. Conaway.
On a later date, there was also a violation written for the fire alarm certification to be provided, being as though it is a mixed-use property.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. And Inspector Conaway, let me know when you can see the document I'm sharing.
I can see, can you enlarge it a little bit, please?
Yes.
Okay, that's good.
Okay, and so what is the document that I am currently displaying?
This is a notice of a violation notice in order to correct.
Okay, and then scrolling down, is this a summary of the violations that you witnessed at the 1903 Jackson Street property?
It is.
And did you have an opportunity to inform the owner of these violations?
Well, there was a notice of violation sent out to the property. A couple weeks later, I heard from Mr. Nicotera Jr. So I hadn't talked, I talked to the father at the time of the inspection and told him what needed to be done, yes.
Okay, so you did talk to a Mr. Nicotera Senior and informed him how to comply those violations.
This is correct.
Okay, so I'm just going to move down to some photographs. Okay. Okay. Okay, Inspector, can you see the photograph that I am currently displaying?
Yes, I do.
Did you take this photograph?
Yes, I did.
And could you tell the board what this photograph depicts?
This is a photograph of the exterior of the property. Shows the sign with the garage door open and the car. Gentleman on the exterior of the property repairing a car.
Still in my hearings.
Okay. And is this how the property appeared the day you inspected it?
Supposed to be ready today.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Excuse me. Someone speaking who's not part of this hearing. Would you please mute yourself? Thank you. My apologies, Skills.
No problem. And Inspector, can you see this, the next photograph that I'm displaying?
Yes, I do.
And can you describe for the board, did you also take this photograph?
Yes, I did.
And could you describe for the board what this photograph depicts?
It basically just shows the clutter of material that was inside of the interior space.
Okay, so this is the interior of 1903 Jackson Street?
That's correct.
Okay. And
May I interrupt briefly? I didn't hear, or maybe it wasn't stated, when were these pictures taken?
They were taken on December 14th, 2021.
Thank you.
And that was the date of your initial inspection?
That's correct.
Okay. And then can you see this third photograph that I'm displaying?
Yes, I do.
And could you describe, did you also take this photograph?
Yes, I did.
And this was also December 14th?
Correct.
Okay, and could you describe for the board what this picture is showing?
Well, along with the clutter of batteries, my intention was to show the fire extinguisher sitting on the floor, outdated.
Okay. Okay. And so why were these violations concerning to you?
Well, like I say, number one, there was no active auto repair shop license on file for the property. And, you know, whenever we go to a property, our first intent is to do is life safety. So we always do a fire inspection, no matter what the complaint is.
Okay. And so over, since you've initially come into contact with this property at Jackson Street, has the owner changed?
Yes, I heard from Mr. Robert Nicotola Jr. Excuse me if I'm pronouncing your name incorrectly.
It's okay. It's okay.
And I had a conversation with him. Yes.
And so Mr. Nicotera's father, the previous owner of the property, he passed away recently?
This is what Mr. Nicotera told me, yes. Junior,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. And so did you inform Mr. Nicotera about these property violations?
Yes, we had extensive conversation on the violations and what needed to be done.
Okay, so you also informed him on what needed to be done in order to comply the property?
Yes, I have.
And what does need to be done in order to comply the property?
Well, number one, he needs to either obtain a auto repair license on the property or remove the shop. And when I say remove the shop, I mean we remove any remnants of an auto repair shop, whether that be car lifts, tools, whatever. And being as though it is a mixed-use property, he needs to show proof that there is a working fire alarm system in the property.
Okay.
Along with other fire code violations that were written.
Okay. And as of today, have you received any proof of compliance with any of those violations?
No, I haven't.
Okay. And have you reached out to Mr. Nicotera in an effort to re-inspect the property to see if any of those violations have been complied?
Yes, I have. I called them earlier today, as a matter of fact.
Okay. And has that re-inspection been able to be set up yet?
Not on the interior, no. So we
And-
went ahead and followed suit.
Okay. Okay. So to your knowledge, all of those initial violations still exist today.
Correct.
Okay. I have no further questions at this time.
Okay, before we proceed, Mr. Nicotero, let me swear you in. You raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give today will be the truth to help you God?
I do.
Okay, you can place your hand down. First question, are you the rightful owner of the property?
I am, sir.
Is anyone else on the deed with you?
No,
Okay, now the property was owned by your father before, so you,
no, sir, that's inaccurate. It was never
Okay.
owned by my father.
okay, who was it
It's
owned by?
always, it used to be my grandparents' house. Unfortunately, there was a falling out in the family. My dad owned the business. It was my grandfather's business. My grandfather passed away, and during that time of the falling out, my father was, he took over the business when my grandfather retired. He could not afford the mortgage, so when I was 20 years old, I purchased the property.
Okay, so the property's in your name.
Yes.
Are you
And
also
I-
operating the, listen to me. Are you also
sir.
operating the business?
Was I? No, I was not. The business was licensed in my father's name, not mine.
Okay, so the business is not being operated by you or anyone else at this time.
Correct.
Okay, all right. That's all I needed to know. So, Mr. Nicotero, what is your understanding of where we are now and what you need to do to get this thing complied?
Well, this is where I'm a little confused because I spoke to, and I only came across this information because once my father passed, I came across this paperwork in his office and about the violations, and that was about 2 weeks before the deadline. So I reached out to it right away and spoke to Inspector Conaway and explained the situation to him, which he was kind of adamant that things still needed to be taken care of. And he was somewhat working with me when I asked him on what my options were, what I could do, because, sir, I don't live in Pennsylvania. I live in New Jersey. I'm an hour and a half away. Trying to take care of all this stuff. Excuse me. So I asked him what I could do because it was hard for me to maintain my job and do all this and commute back and forth to figure out what I was doing with the building. He advised me that if I sent him a notarized letter indicating that my father had passed and that, currently right now that we were cleaning the property out, that would negate all of the violations with the exception of the, what was it, that a failure to obtain an auto repair license. And then I received another notification on January 19th. Well, it was dated January 19th. I received it after that. And it said, this one, it had all the other violations removed. The only one on there was the correction needed was to obtain an auto repair license, which again, I had no idea. Because again, like I said, I don't live in Pennsylvania. I don't know anything about obtaining a license for an auto repair shop. So I went on the Eclipse thing to try and renew my dad's. I didn't know if I could do that, and that failed to go through. I couldn't do that, so I've been trying to do what I can. We've been trying to empty the contents out of the place as right now because me, my brother, and my sisters, we're unsure what we're doing with the business. I mean, or with the building, excuse me. But it's because it's been in our family for years. So we were debating whether to sell it, whether to keep it and rent it, whether someone was going to attempt to.
Okay, Mr.
take over the
Nicotero,
business.
yeah, let's sort of narrow things down a bit. The auto repair business is no longer operating, correct?
At this time, it is not.
Is it your desire as a property owner to lease it to someone else to operate an auto repair business?
To be honest with you, I'm not there because as you saw, Inspector.
No, but that's not
Conway's
the question
photo-
I asked you. Well, what is your plans for operating an auto repair? You plan to or you don't plan to?
Me personally, I cannot. I'm a law enforcement officer. I have a full-time job. Me personally, no. Whether or not I have someone else that may want to rent it as an auto repair, because I have had people approach me, say they'd like to take over my dad's business.
So what's the answer? Yes, you plan to do that?
I don't know, sir.
Okay, well,
I
I'm
don't-
asking you this because that goes directly to the violations. And so let's start in an easy place. It may be appropriate for you to get legal counsel to help you work through this. I don't know if you have a lawyer.
I've been trying.
Okay, I'm just saying, get a lawyer and or a real estate broker, a professional in that area who could help you with some of these things to resolve that stuff. Secondly, just as an aside, as a owner of invested property in Philadelphia who does not reside in Philadelphia, you're supposed to have an agent in Philadelphia who represents your interests. That's important for you to do. That means a real estate broker or someone else and a real estate professional. The second thing is, have you cleaned out the building? As the interior is still cluttered?
It's not what it was. It still has a lot of stuff because again, it's got 60 plus years. It's got 60 years worth of stuff in it. And
You had to get a professional junk hauler to come in and clean it out.
Sir, I'm trying. I don't have that money to put out. Sir, I'm working all day long. I'm commuting an hour and a half to get there. I'm going nights. I'm going weekends. I'm getting by on 3 hours sleep, trying to get this taken care of. And I'm doing what I can. Okay. I mean, I don't have the extra money to throw out because if you saw the pictures he had, you know what it would cost me to do that? I don't have that kind of money.
Okay,
sir.
let's
Let me
you said that there was a
ask the question, if I may. Is there a tenant in the second floor?
No, there is no tenant. My dad was living there. He is deceased now.
Is the building empty? Is it vacant?
The building is empty. It's vacant. There's no one there. Utilities are not being used. The gas is not, nothing. There is not a hazard. Nothing is being used that is going to start something. It's
okay. So I guess I'm back to the city. What is, given that the building is vacant, what is the city's position on that?
We're still asking to cease the property today until all the violations have been complied. As you heard Inspector Conaway, we still don't know if there's an active fire alarm system, which is the main concern. So until we can be ensured that those fire precautions are in place in the building, we would still be asking for City of Firm to cease the building today.
Now, what would be the effect of a cease if it's a vacant building?
That I'm not.
If it's vacant, he's already complied partially with the issue.
May I?
Oh, no, not Mr. Conaway. You have to respond through your attorney. She gives you the cue to say something. So she's the attorney. So we need to work through her. If the two of you want to talk, please do that. But
Could I call Inspector
Sure.
Conaway to allow him to answer that question?
Yeah, you can give him permission to answer. I just want to make certain that he understands. He's your
no,
witness.
I would like, go ahead, Inspector Conaway, you can answer that.
Thank you. We as the department, and please forgive me, Mr. Nicotera, we as the apartment, we can't go on your word that the property is vacant. From what I witnessed, there is a lot of combustible materials in the structure. And although it may be vacant, it doesn't stop these combustible materials from igniting under a certain hazard. There aren't any, from what I witnessed, there were no fire protection in the property. So what it would do is it would basically avoid any activity in the property until you complied the violations, and that would secure, the department.
all right. Now, those other violations, even though you told me that they would be negated from that, which you did say, correct? When you told me that if I sent you that notarized letter, that that would negate those violations other than the obtained license, correct?
May I? So what I told you,
somebody has to say something. Yep.
yeah, so what I told you was, if you sent me the notarized letter stating that the property was no longer being used as an auto repair shop, and you removed the remnants of the auto repair shop, that would negate the need for auto repair license. If it's not an auto repair shop and there's no remnants of an auto repair shop, then you don't need auto repair license. It will also negate the need for oily rag can, because there's no work being done in the property. It would negate the need for fire department safety data sheets to be posted on the exterior because there isn't a auto repair shop. However, we still would need the fire apparatuses intact, even vacant buildings. If there's a
But all
fire-
those violations I still did. I know you haven't gained access to, because again, our scheduling has conflicted and I can't get down here when you are, and I know you're not there on weekends, but I got fire extinguishers. I actually had a company come out and I got 2 extinguishers there. They told me I didn't need any more of that because of this 75-foot distance. It did not reach all the way to the back. They told me I needed 1. I have 2. I have the oily rag can. But again, all this stuff is getting removed. Like I'm emptying the contents as of right now anyway, because that clutter, it's got to go. I get it. And I understand how my dad had it. As a law enforcement officer, this is not, I don't do what my dad does. I'm trying to do everything I can to get it right. I'm trying to get this whole situation taken care of. But again, like I said, the time and the distance is what is slowing the process for me. And I can only do so much at a time.
Mr. Nicotera, didn't you say you have a brother and a sister? Are they not
Yes.
living in Philadelphia? Are they not involved? Are they not able?
None of them, no. My sister lives in North Pennsylvania, or one of my sisters. The other ones are all, again, from Jersey. We're all a distance away.
Okay, you're gonna have to get somebody locally to be available to let the inspector in the property. That's the easiest way to resolve most of your problem. If you can't do it, you gotta either get a real estate broker or someone to represent your interests.
They have an agent in Philadelphia anyhow, if you own a property.
Yeah.
I didn't hear you, I'm sorry.
He restated what I said earlier. As a non-resident of Philadelphia, you need an agent who's in Philadelphia to represent your interests when you own investment property in Philadelphia for this very reason. So people have lives they have to live, so the agent has to represent them for these kinds of matters. Okay.
Well, like I said, originally the whole thing was just, I was trying to be a good son and help my father not lose his business.
I understand.
Took care of everything. And I mean, so he was at the time technically my interest. He lived there and he ran the business. So
Understood. Okay, understood. This is where we are today. So the issue is, and I'm putting this to the city because we need to get to a resolution in this matter. This building is currently vacant. When was the execution date of the cease scheduled to occur? And I believe as the cease occurs, it doesn't change anything about your ability to control this space, Mr. Nicotera.
So if that cease takes place, do I still have authorization to enter my premise and?
Oh,
and
sure,
remove
yeah,
things?
absolutely.
All right, that's the main thing. Like I don't want to be,
That's
have
why-
the property taken away and me removed from access to be able to remove the contents.
Mr. Nicotera, that's why you need a lawyer.
Okay.
Okay. You're law enforcement. You understand the need for legal representation.
Listen, I've been on the phone for the past 2 days trying to get a lawyer and either people aren't available, they don't cover this kind of stuff. I have not been able to get one. So I've been trying.
Okay. All right. You're a little late to the game. Start doing that months ago would have been better.
Well, I
Okay.
wasn't aware of all this.
Okay.
Yeah, listen, and my father just died. I just had him cremated. So, I mean,
Okay.
I got a lot going on. And I'm
I
trying.
understand.
Now,
appreciate
my biggest concern with this, because according to this violation, I'm being fined. Am I being fined? Because that's my main concern is I can't afford that. I'm like I said, I'm trying my hardest to get this taken care of as quickly as possible.
The fines aren't before us, so I don't have an answer for you. Okay. The only thing we're dealing with today is whether or not the cease operations that's been proposed by the city of Philadelphia should be implemented right away. And so the issue is you need some additional time to make it happen with the understanding that the building is currently vacant, correct?
Correct.
And no intention of occupying either the residential or the commercial space until you comply with everything.
Correct.
Correct? Okay.
Correct.
All right. Ms. Scouts, in this instance, then, what are we looking at in terms of time, in terms of execution of a cease?
We would be looking to execute that right away. It was scheduled to be ceased, I believe, the January 19th, and we have held off until the hearing today. So we would be looking to execute that cease right away.
Well, in this instance, given the testimony on the record by Mr. Nicotera, the owner of the property that is currently vacant with no plans to occupy either the residential or the commercial space, would that have any impact on the city's position?
Even though Mr. Nicotera does not intend to occupy the space, we would still be asking for the cease to protect the public so that they know that they shouldn't be on the property and that there are life safety violations on the property. So even though Mr. Nicotera does not intend to inhabit the property, we would still be asking for the cease to take effect immediately to protect the community.
Well,
where this
now,
property
if
is located.
once the property is seized, does that mean that someone from LNI enters the property and cleans it out, or do we take any action?
Well, Mr. Nicotera could still have access
No,
to
that's
the
not the question I asked. The question is, does LNI, anyone else go in and take any action if their cease is implemented?
No.
Okay, alrighty. So the issue is that Mr. Nicotera still has to proceed to get things cleaned out.
Yes.
Which I understand.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. I think we're at the point we can make a decision regarding HA 2022-000373. I suggest that we affirm the city with the 60-day stay of enforcement. That's if I have a need to, just one moment. Let's poll the board. If that position isn't supported, then I will hear from the board.
I'm inclined because of what I've heard from the city that the cease order will not preclude Mr. Nicotera from doing what he needs to do, and that that any stay of enforcement isn't going to be helpful in this instance. And I think the issue of the safety and access to the public is more important, or lack of access to the public, and getting it cleaned out as soon as possible. I wouldn't go along with a stay. I would just affirm the city.
Okay. Well, let's do this then. Let's poll the board with regard to 1903 Jackson Street. And I will, as I always do, lead the vote in this instance. City affirmed.
City affirmed.
City affirmed with a 30-day stay of enforcement.
Okay, thank you. We have a request for an amendment to the city affirmative 30-day stay of enforcement. The chair will amend his vote to incorporate the 30-day stay of enforcement. Thank you.
I would just ask that the notice of violation and the photographs be admitted into the record as city exhibits A through D.
So noted and entered. Thank you very much.
Can I ask what exactly what this means?
The vote is that the city's position has been affirmed, but we giving you 30 days without further enforcement action to take to clean out the building, to take care of those violations. Okay. And just a recommendation that I'm not your attorney and can't give you legal advice, but you do need to get some professional support for what you're trying to do. This will not work with you trying to cross the bridge every day for however many hours of sleep you had. It just doesn't work for you or the situation.
I understand, sir.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a good day. Let's call the next case.
Okay. Case number 45, appeal number HA-202-000413. Joel Williams, 1921 North 31st Street.
Okay. Who's handling this for the city?
Good evening, members of the board. Jeffrey Cohen for the city. If we can just double check that Mr. Williams is still on the line.
Mr. Williams, Mr. Joel Williams.
He appears to be muted.
Him to unmute,
Okay.
because I can't do that. They have to do it.
Okay. Mr. Joel Williams, are you present? I think I had earlier asked Ms. Williams that you mute Mr. Williams because we had to move on. So
I did. I did.
And okay, can you reverse that?
All I can do is ask him to unmute.
Can you call him? Let's see if we can call him.
That may be useful. It may pop up on his screen if you do.
I'm sorry?
If you ask him to unmute, it may pop up on his screen, or it may prompt him if he's on a phone
Correct.
to take some action.
Right. I tried to look in the other box to see if there was any way. No, just to ask him to unmute.
Is that Mr. Williams, that 215 number and on the screen? Is that Mr. Williams?
Yeah, can you text them at the number on the screen?
That was my
I
understanding.
can't text
from-
him through Zoom that I'm aware of.
It was my understanding that the 215 number
You want me to step
currently
away
on
and
the
call
screen
him?
is Mr. Williams.
Yes, if you would, please. Please try to call him.
That is his phone number. So on his,
Chairman, I just called him. He said he's trying to unmute himself. He said he can hear us, but he can't hear.
all
We
right,
can't
thank
hear
you
him.
so much.
All right, thank you.
Just as a cleanup matter, is Inspector Michael Murphy still under oath?
We'll need to re-swear him.
Okay. And Inspector Murphy, if you're hearing me, if you could please unmute yourself and turn on your camera.
Do we have another case after this?
No, I think this is the last
We're
one.
the last one.
Debbie,
Yes.
he said he can't unmute himself because you muted him.
Oh,
Can you put him in the back?
let me try and put him back in the waiting room. Maybe that'll help.
And then bring him back.
Okay, I can try that. I don't know what else to do at the bottom. It doesn't tell me, give me anything.
Okay.
So let
See
me
if
put
you
him
can-
back in there and I'll bring him back in.
Yeah.
He's still coming back in as muted.
Well, let's do this. Ask him to hang up and call, because that means he'll break the connection.
Right.
So, Miss Alfred, if you have contact with him, ask him to hang up and just call us back. We'll wait for him.
Okay, I will.
Thank you. There should be something in settings. There we go. Okay. I'll just wait from the pop-up.
Okay.
Now, the other lady was able to unmute herself. I muted her as well.
Yeah. Well,
Muted herself as she came in, so, but
yeah.
it's okay.
Was she using a smartphone or the Zoom app?
I'm not sure.
And one other thing, Deborah, Miss Colada, who we had on the line before, and then you muted her. If she's not on this case, what
I'm
is
not
she?
really sure what case she's here for, but Dolores spoke to her and she came in muted. So I did not mute her again. I put her back in the waiting room because she couldn't hear us.
Because everyone else is for the city, so I'm wondering, we have no further
I'm
cases.
not quite sure either.
I'm here.
Okay,
Hello,
we hear
Miss
someone's
Colada?
voice.
Miss Colada,
Yes,
can you hear me?
yes.
What property are you here, or what matter are you here for?
I'm here for my own property at 2944 Brighton Street.
Say that address again?
2944 Brighton Street.
Just a moment.
Don't see that on today's list.
Oh, that isn't on our list today.
That was on my list at 1 o'clock. I didn't know how to work the Zoom, so I got put out.
Yeah, but Ms. Richardson, is that a case for us today? It's not on our case list.
I do
Yes.
not see it on our list
No,
today.
her hearing is for March 8th, 2022 at 1:15.
Ms. Colada, you're
Yes.
scheduled for March 8th, not February 8th.
Oh, no. What?
March 8th.
March 8th. No,
Yes.
I sat here all day. Oh my,
Yeah. Yeah, you're the wrong day.
God, this for being ready for Zoom.
Okay.
And
Great
between
job,
now and then,
guys. What?
between now and then, Miss Colada, maybe you can figure out how to get your camera to work so we could see
Is my
you.
camera working?
No, ma'am.
Oh, shoot, darn, okay, I'll try. Is that-
Okay. Have a good evening.
I've
Okay.
been all day, listening to everything you guys were doing all day.
Okay. Well, thank you for hanging in there with us, but we have one more case to handle. So have a good night.
Okay, you guys, great job. You know, I respect everything you do. Thank you.
Thank
very-
you.
Bye.
Thank you. Did our Joel Williams come back?
No, he's not in the waiting room.
Okay, so Ms. Alfred, can you call him and ask him?
Chairman, I'm actually on the phone with him now. He's re-entering the meeting ID and the passcode.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. That's fine, right?
It's a good thing we didn't hear the other 20 or 30 cases.
Yeah, how about it?
Debbie, it
Yes,
says that
I'm
he's
here.
in the meeting now.
I'm
Do
sorry.
you see him?
I
Do you see
I
him in
see
there?
him. Yep, just now. Okay. Thank you.
Excellent. Is Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Okay, just hold on a moment. Okay, Ms. Richardson, would you read the case in, please?
Yes. Case number 45, appeal number HA 2022-000413, Joel Williams, 1921 North 31st Street.
Okay.
Just so we can hit the ground running, the city's willing to stipulate that Mr. Williams is the owner and an occupant of 1921 North 31st Street. But as we're going to prove as part of our case, he's not the sole occupant, and there are, as I said in a previous email, serious safety concerns at this property.
Okay, thank you very much. Alrighty. Mr. Williams, the way we will proceed here is Mr. Cohen, representing the city of Philadelphia, will put on his case first. After that, you will respond and give us facts as you understand them, and then we will bring the matter to a vote. Okay?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Alrighty, so Mr. Cohen, would you begin, please?
Could we please have Mr. Murphy and Mr. Williams sworn in at this time?
Okay, Mr. Williams and Mr. Murphy, would you raise your right hand and respond to the order to swear? Will you swear or affirm the testimony given in this case will be the truth so help you God?
I do.
Mr. Williams?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you very much. Okay, Mr. Cohen?
May I please share my screen?
Yes.
I'm going to be sharing the city's exhibits packet that I had previously emailed yesterday. I did email a copy to Mr. Williams, and what I'll do to make sure that he's able to follow along is I'll announce the page numbers while I'm going through the packet. Right now, I'm just showing the topic contents page. That's the first page in the PDF.
Okay.
Now, Inspector Murphy, if you can very briefly just say who you work for and what position.
Good evening. My name is Inspector Murphy, City of Philadelphia, License and Inspection, North Central Operations.
And in the course of your duties for North Central Operations, did you have cause to go to 1921 North 31st Street?
Yes.
I'm going to jump to page 2 in the packet, which is, well, I'll actually let Inspector Murphy say, Inspector Murphy, what is this document I have on screen?
The document on screen is a notice of violation of an order to correct.
And who put together this notice of violations?
I did, sir.
And when were you at this property?
Initially, I was at the property December 29th, December 30th, I'm sorry.
Well, sorry, what is the date on the notice?
12/30/21.
And what is the date of the inspection that preceded the notice?
The next inspection, the re-inspection would have been,
Sorry, the date of the inspection before this notice was issued.
there wasn't any other inspections before that date.
Okay, I'll move on. I'm scrolling down slightly to the bottom half of this page, page 2. What violations, if any, did you see at this property?
The property that wasn't zoned It needed a certificate of occupancy. I needed the fire alarm certification because I saw fire alarm components in the property.
If I can ask, based on your review of LNI's records, what is the current use registered for this property?
The current use for this property is one apartment to the left and a store to the right.
And is that what's known as a mixed-use property?
That is correct.
Are mixed-use properties required to have fire alarm systems?
Yes, sir.
And what was the use of the property, the actual use, whether or not it was registered, that you saw when you inspected this property?
3 apartments.
And is a 3-apartment use required to have a working fire alarm?
Yes.
Now, you mentioned that it doesn't have a certificate of occupancy, also known as a CO. From getting the zoning to getting the certificate of occupancy, can you briefly summarize that permitting process?
Well, you would have to get a use permit first to change use of the zoning. Obtaining the use permit would trigger a building inspector to go out there to do an inspection. And he would tell you what you need to do to obtain a certificate of occupancy or to change the zoning or present your items to the Board of Zoning.
And let's say that the use is provided, you registered a new use. What then would you need to convert the property to that new use?
You would need a certificate of occupancy, and you would also need a fire alarm certificate. You would need a fire alarm installed with a current fire alarm certification.
Are there any permits that you would need in order to get the certificate of occupancy?
Yes, you would need to have a building inspector come out to inspect for a permit to install the fire alarm system and also to grant you your certificate of occupancy.
So what does that inspection look like to get your certificate of occupancy?
That's the building side of LNI. So a building inspector will go out there, check the fire protection, make sure all fire protections are in place for that zoning, and then he will present that information to his or her supervisor, and then his or her supervisor will sign off on the certificate of occupancy.
So to the best of your knowledge, based on a review of LNI's records for this property, is there any building permit issued or certificate of occupancy issued that would have triggered that inspection?
No.
Has that inspection occurred for this property?
No.
And I'm going to now scroll down to the page 3 in the packet, which is the second page of this notice. What, if any, other violations did you observe at this property?
There was an exit sign leading out of the apartment to your left that wasn't illuminated. In that apartment, there was a hole in one of the walls in the bedroom. And the water that was in the apartment was illegal.
What do you mean by that?
It wasn't getting a meter read through from the Philadelphia Water Department, meaning it was cut on somehow or jumped somehow through the system, whereas though it's not getting accurate read, so the water department is not able to give a reading on that property.
If there isn't legal water service to a property, can LNI at that point declare a property unfit under the code?
Yes.
Did LNI declare this property unfit under the code?
Yes.
I'm now going to scroll down to page 11 in the packet. It's what's been pre-marked as Exhibit C4. It's a photograph showing the exterior of the property. Inspector, is this an accurate depiction of the exterior of the property when you were there back in December? Are you able to see what's on the screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that is, it is. It's the same.
So looking at this property, is it attached on the right side to another row property?
Yes.
And looking at the front of this property, it looks like there's only one door out in front. Is that correct?
That's correct.
But I also see, are there 3 meter slots on the outside of this property?
Yes.
I'm going to scroll down now to page 12 in the packet. This is pre-marked as Exhibit C4. What is this photograph depicting?
The front of the property.
And who took this photograph?
I did.
And does this photograph accurately depict the property as you saw it on December 29th of 2021?
That is correct.
All right, scrolling down to page 13 in the packet. What is depicted in this photograph?
The bottom part is a hole in the wall, and it's like some Brillo hold it like through the holes and stop rodent or pests coming through the wall. Most
And
I see people use the Brillo pad. I apologize to stop that.
I was going to ask about this clutter or I guess stuff that is depicted in the picture. What is that?
It's clothing inside the tote, like some clothes and stuff inside the tote, and some laundry bags to your left.
Mr. Cohen, I'm just having problems trying to the orientation of this photo. Am I looking down on a floor? Is that brown material a floor or a wall?
That's the floor, sir.
Okay, now where's the hole that you testified about?
If you look on the bottom part right there, that right there is a hole. That's Brillo pad inside of the hole.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you. Now I see
You
it.
use to
Okay.
clean your dishes and stuff like that.
Yep. I got you.
Sorry, and you said these materials were in a hall?
Well, it was in a tote. It's closed.
Okay. I'm scrolling down now to page 14 in the packet, or sorry, pages 12 through 18 in the packet. Are these all photographs that you took?
Yes.
Okay, then I'm scrolling down to page 14. What's depicted in this photograph?
A hole in the wall and a fire alarm annunciator.
Based on your inspection, was this fire alarm component working?
No.
And is there anything else in this photograph worth mentioning?
That annunciator is a component of a fire alarm system. It's no tag on there or nothing. It's the mercury is connected, but it's not working.
Then I'm scrolling down to page 15 in the packet. Inspector, what's depicted in this photograph?
Exit sign over the apartment leading out of the apartment to your left. That's not illuminated.
Why is it important to have illuminated exit signs?
Because if it was a power outage, the code will require that someone knows where the exit is at. If it was a power outage or in the dark, you're trying to escape, trying to get away from a fire or something, you need to know where the exit sign is at.
Is this the type of fire code violation that would be caught during a certificate of occupancy inspection?
Yes.
Scrolling down now to page 16 in the packet. Inspector, what's depicted in this photograph?
That's the front door of the apartment 1 to your left, the first apartment.
And I'm specifically looking at this lock over here. What type of lock is the top lock on this door?
A double key lock.
Is there a particular fire safety issue with double key locks?
Yes.
What would that be?
Dwelling units should not have a double key lock or no special knowledge key leading outside to the egress.
Is that so someone can very quickly get out in a fire?
Well, if they got a double key lock on there, they won't be able to get out quickly. So that's why the double key lock is not required. You gotta have the thumb turn style one.
Like the sort of bolt
Yes.
knob? Okay. And would this be a type of fire code violation that would be caught in a CO inspection?
Yes.
I'm scrolling down to page 17 in the packet. What's depicted in this photograph?
Leading up to apartment 2 and 3 is the same thing. The double key lock, it shows separation from one apartment to another apartment and not a store.
Are there other occupants in this building?
Yes.
Did you speak to Mr. Williams, the owner and appellant, about this building?
Yes.
What, if anything, did he say to you?
Which conversation? Because we had 3.
Oh, sorry, let's start from the first conversation late December.
The first conversation I called with in regards to cease operations, license and inspections, rather you come into compliance and actually cease the property. So I reached out to our research department and I got his Mr. Williams' information. I called Mr. Williams. He was very hostile. He told me that I was extorting him from, I was trying to extort him. I broke into his apartment. He didn't have any tenants there. And I was just explaining to Mr. Williams that I saw components of a fire alarm system in there. You don't have zoning to be having 3 apartments in there. He told me, Inspector, it's supposed to be vacant. Ain't nobody supposed to be in there.
Well, clearly, these photographs were taken from inside the building, correct?
That is correct.
So who let you in?
A tenant.
So sorry, please continue.
You want her name?
Oh, no, continue with your conversation with Mr. Williams.
So I explained to Mr. Williams that if he doesn't correct the violations in 35 days, cease operations will occur. And I explained to him what a cease was. Mr. Williams hung up on me. I told him I noted the conversation in the case file, and I informed my supervisor.
Thank you, Inspector. You mentioned that there are tenants at this property.
Yeah.
When you reviewed L&I's records, does this property have a rental license?
No.
Would this property need to get a use registration permit and then a CO before being able to get a rental license?
That is correct.
All right, I'm going to scroll down to the next page here, page 18 in the packet, which is the last photograph in Exhibit C5. What's depicted in this photograph?
That's a picture of the front door of the property. I posted an unfit structure sticker on this property.
And just to state this for the record, Inspector Murphy testified earlier that the current zoning is mixed use. I'm not going to try and enter these into the record, but for everyone's reference, Exhibits C6 and C7 are taken from the zoning archive. Those are a 1969 and 1957 zoning and use permit for this property.
Okay.
May I interrupt? When was this poster put up at the time of the inspection on December 29th?
No, sir, it was December 30th, the next day.
I'm sorry, December 30th.
And I would actually, sorry, I'm just going to zoom in. Is that date December 30th on this poster?
Yes, sir.
All right, now I'm going to scroll down to page 31 in the packet, if you'll please excuse me. What is depicted currently on the screen, Inspector?
An application for a use permit.
When was this application submitted?
October 23rd, 2020.
And who submitted the application?
Joel Williams.
And what was he seeking to do with his application?
Change the use of the property from its current use to a 2-family dwelling.
And did he succeed in changing the use of this property?
No.
What's the current status of this application as of today?
Expired.
All right, I have no further questions at this time. I would just reserve some time for rebuttal. And if Mr. Williams wants to use any of the exhibits, I can put up whatever page he wants on screen.
Okay, Mr. Williams, please share with us your understanding of where this situation is. Hello, Mr. Williams? Mr. Williams, are you still with us? Okay.
I don't see him on the participant
check.
list.
No, I don't see his number anywhere. Let me check in the waiting room.
Okay.
No, I don't see anybody there either.
Okay, let's do 2 things. If Mr. Cohen, if you could take down the screen share, then I can see everyone. Okay. Miss Alfred, do you have the
Yes.
ability to call him again?
Yes. Let's see. I got his number from off the top of the screen. I'm gonna see, can I hit redial?
If not, I have it here if you want me to give it to you.
Yes, I do, please.
215
Mhm.
298 2233.
Could you say the last 4 again, Deb?
2233.
Thank you.
Mhm. I don't see him in the waiting room, so.
Do we know when his phone call dropped? I didn't hear
When you're
any.
sharing the
Excuse me.
screen,
Excuse me, he said his phone, it did drop and he's trying to get back in.
Okay.
Can you hear
I
most
don't
of
know
your,
because you were sharing the screen and I can't see everybody.
Mr. Jefferson, if he missed most of the testimony on the documents, do we need to repeat any of that?
You're muted, Ed.
Yeah, in as much as, he is the appellant, he needs to know what the evidence is for him to be able to conduct a cross-examination.
Okay. Now, he has hard copies of all the documents that were presented on the screen.
Uh-huh.
I believe that's Mr. Cohen's testimony, correct, Mr. Cohen?
I'm wondering if what we might do instead is basically go back through the pages and try and replicate Inspector
Okay.
Murphy's testimony.
Okay, without
We need
having
to know
to
when
redo it.
when he dropped.
Yeah, I'd rather, if we could do that without having to ask Mr. Murphy to restate all of everything he said.
I mean, alternatively, you can ask him, to state the grounds of his appeal.
Okay.
If he's asking for more time, then it doesn't really much matter,
Okay.
what the city has offered.
Okay, good point.
That actually,
Okay.
yeah, that is a good point.
Thank you.
Mhm.
This is going to be chapter 3 in my book.
what are the first two? I can't wait for the first two.
Do you have a title yet?
I'll be home by 4.
And which
That's
ones
the-
is
that's the title.
Which ones are Steve writing?
I like that title. I'll be home by 4.
I am still recording
He should be in the meeting.
just now.
Okay, let's bring him in.
Yep, there we go.
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, we'd like to hear from you now in terms of your defense or what you understand the facts to be.
I don't understand the facts, sir.
Okay, did you hear the presentation from the city that showed all the various violations? We can put them,
No.
pardon me?
No.
Did you receive documentation from the city that showed all the violations?
Yes.
Okay.
The follow too.
Okay, now do you dispute any of the violations?
Dispute them?
Yes.
Sir, I'd like to plead the fifth.
I'm not sure what plead the fifth. That doesn't apply in this circumstance. The
But
criminal,
it's about-
that's a criminal case. This is not a criminal matter.
Is I'm held liable, sir?
Oh, you're under oath and you must state the truth. So we need you to respond to the question. We'd like to
That's
hear
what
the
I'm saying.
facts.
Oh, sir, I don't know. I don't understand this to plead guilty. I don't understand it.
We aren't asking you to plead guilty. What I'm asking
You just asked me. You saying is their facts. Their facts is different than mine. I don't understand what they talking about.
Okay, let me ask you a couple questions. That may help a little bit, okay?
Yeah.
Currently, do you have legal water service to the property?
Yeah.
So you have a metered water service on the water department?
I have water service in the property, sir.
That's not what I'm asking you. I'm asking, do you have legal water service? Do you receive a bill from the water department?
Yes.
You do. Do you have a copy
Yes,
of a water bill?
Yes, I sent it on the email.
Okay, who did you send that to?
I would actually object at this point because the water service to part of the property is not an issue. It's the water service to the individual units. And also the reasons for the city's seeking a cease are not entirely based on the water service.
Okay,
In fact,
I
a
just
lot of it
wanna-
is based on the fire code violations.
Okay, just want to get the answers on the record. Okay, thank you. So noted. At the current time, sir, how many apartments are in
Just
that
me,
building?
sir.
Mr.
Just me,
Williams,
sir. Just me.
there are no other tenants living in the building?
No.
And so
Me and
the
my
individual, I'm sorry, you and your family?
Yes, there's no tenants in my building.
So no
No.
one pays you rent for living in the building?
No. No.
Okay.
I
The
would like him to
individual,
come out.
okay, the individuals who allowed access to the building, who allowed the inspector in the building, who's that individual?
Squatters, sir.
Pardon me, we didn't hear you.
They must have been squatters, sir. I wasn't home.
Do you have squatter problems on a regular basis who come and go during the day?
I had problems trying to get these people out of my building. Standing in front of my door selling drugs. They asking me for money. And then I get a call from L&I about some money. It's like it's all about money.
Okay, well let me understand
When
something.
I put the house on the market, I just started having this problems because
Okay, let me ask you a question though, sir.
Let's put the house on the market.
Look, let's just stick to the point here. The individuals who allow the
I don't know
inspector.
who, sir. I wasn't there.
Okay, but
I don't know. I wasn't there.
So
at
how
all.
many people? How many people?
I wouldn't even know it was my daughter let them in. I don't know.
How many people live in the building?
I have a job.
Okay, how many people live in the building?
Right now, just me.
Okay, how long has that been the case?
For like a week.
Okay. 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 And the record shows that in 2020, you applied for a use permit and it expired. Can you give us a sense of why that wasn't completed?
Sir, I don't understand. I don't understand law. I don't understand this process at all. I asked him, let me get time to the lawyer. He told me no. I asked him, let me fix the problem. They tell me no. I don't understand it.
Well, you submitted the application.
Because talking about I had to go on the street. He's telling me I'm not supposed to be home.
Mr. Williams, you submitted.
He called me while I was at work, and he's telling me about violation. I'm at work,
Mr.
and he's
Williams,
telling me about some money, about these people down there with this money. What is going on?
Mr. Williams, I'm trying to help you understand this, so just take your time. Just work with me here. The application for a use permit that was submitted in 2020. Did you submit that?
I think so. I really don't understand, sir.
You said you did. But you submitted the application.
I'm trying to submit paperwork to get things done.
Okay, so when you submitted it, is there any reason why you didn't follow through to complete it?
Because I don't understand when I'm down there. Nobody's helping me.
Okay.
Nobody's giving me an education. They ain't walking me through. Everybody trying to get money off me. They trying to find. He sent me paperwork with money on it.
I'm not sure I understand what you just said. You said paper with money on it. What is that? What do
Yeah,
you
because
mean?
they asked for money. These sending me paper for money.
Question?
Yes, yes. And let me do this. Can you see the documents that we put up on the screen, or you have them in your hand, the hard copies, sir?
No.
You don't have them with you?
No.
Okay,
Mr.
just
Williams.
listen for a moment. Just listen for a moment. Mr. Cohen, would you put the documents up? Just listen for a moment.
Because
Mr.
he's
Cohen?
not participating via computer, he wouldn't be able to see the documents on screen. But I think, Mr. Williams, are you referring to the monetary amounts on the right side of page 2 of the city's packet, where next to, for example, it says obtain proper zoning, to the right of that, it says fine amount $300?
I believe so, sir. I don't have a screen in front of me or no paperwork.
I think that's what's going on here. At least I believe that what he's referring to are the fine amounts listed on the notice of violations.
Okay, so that wasn't requested you to give the inspector money. Those were the fines that could be charged against you for violations.
So why? No, all right.
Okay, so that's
Mr. Williams, may I ask you a question? When you bought the building, how many
I never
apartments
bought
were?
the building, sir. Sir, my mom gave me that building. It says it on the deed from mother to son. My mom gave me that building. Me and my family, my brothers. I don't own it by myself.
You
We
don't.
would
family owns
stipulate
the
to
building.
that. The city would stipulate to that. It's actually exhibit C12 in the packet on page 34. We've attached the 1995 deed transferring between family members.
Okay, and Mr. Williams is not the owner, the sole owner of the building?
He is a co-owner, I believe, with his brother.
Okay. Is your brother aware of these violations, Mr. Williams?
No.
Is he, is there a
He
reason for?
want to sell the building, sir.
And so the
He
two
want
of
to
you
sell the
aren't,
building, and
okay.
I don't have a place to stay.
So the two of you aren't in agreement as to what should happen to the building then?
I'm in agreement to staying there because
Okay,
I'm broke. I'm poor.
Okay, he wants to sell it and you want to stay there. We do have a problem, Mr. Cohen. If he's another owner who has a different opinion, it really we shouldn't be hearing this case.
Well, no, the notice of violation was issued to, and the intent to cease were issued to the registered mailing address for the property, which is across the street. And in a previous email, Mr. Williams had said that 1928 North 31st Street, the across the street property, is owned by their father, which also is potentially a place where Mr. Williams could go if this board affirms the city's position that this property is unsafe or should be ceased because
I'm raising a different issue in terms of ownership. Mr. Williams is not the sole owner, and the other owner of interest should be part of this hearing.
But the other owner of interest has not joined onto Mr. Williams' appeal.
Okay. Okay. Mr. Williams, and I guess Mr. Jefferson, as our legal counsel, do we have any impediment to proceeding to a decision? You muted.
You just muted Ed.
You muted.
Both owners have been cited. Only one has appealed. So to the extent that the other owner didn't appeal at all, the cease would just be imposed.
Okay.
So the only dispute is coming from one of the owners.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Williams, I guess the other question for you is, how long has the property been configured the way it is now in terms of apartments?
There's no apartments.
Say that again, please.
There's no apartment.
Although you have multiple electric meters out front, there are no apartments?
There's an upstairs and there's a downstairs.
Okay. And so that would suggest
and
at
he
least
told me the downstairs is a store.
There are three electric meters on the front of your property. At least that's the picture show. Can you explain what those three electric meters are for?
Electric bills, electricity.
What each meter provides electricity to what part of the building?
Sure. I don't know. I'm not an electrician.
Okay. Mr. Murphy, did you inspect the interior of the property?
That is yes, sir.
How many kitchens were in the property?
One on the left side, there was one on the side that I gained access, and the other side wasn't nobody home when I came back to make the attempt to get in.
So you only saw one kitchen?
Yes, sir.
How many bathrooms did you see?
One.
And that was on the first?
Were you only able to enter one of the apartments, Mr. Murphy?
That is correct.
Okay. Mr. Cohen, is there any evidence or information that you have regarding the water issue? Because that's what the unfit is hit for. And the other issues is the matter of the fire alarms.
The evidence that we have is what we've presented regarding the water meter. Of course, I would argue that the appellant has not shown any evidence to the contrary, has not shown any evidence of legalization.
Okay.
I would also argue that the appellant is not credible. He has claimed that there's no apartments in the building, and yet there clearly are photographs showing exactly that. He's claimed that there are squatters in the building, but no, there's no tenants in the building, and he's the only occupant of the building. He's contradicted himself within this own hearing, let alone on his appeal form and in emails.
Mr. Williams, how long has the building been configured the way it is now? How long has it been set up that way?
But from between separated between upstairs and downstairs?
Yes.
Forever. Since it was built.
Has the outside always looked the way it does now?
Outside of the building?
Yeah, the exterior.
No.
When did that change?
It changed. I think my brother and them had it done a couple of years ago. Like was incarcerated, sir. I don't know. I don't know.
Okay. Okay. Does anyone, Mr. Williams, have anything else in your defense that you want to share with us that would be helpful to us?
Oh, I just had. I don't know what he's stating. I don't understand what is going on, sir. I really don't.
So you didn't
He called me
understand?
up and he asked me why I'm not home, so you can walk through my house. Well, I was at work, and I told this guy I got a job. I got a job. I gotta go to work.
Okay, Mr. Williams, did you not understand the paperwork that was sent to you?
No.
Okay.
And I called them up on the phone, and I asked them to explain it to me. I asked them, come out here. Help me.
And did he?
And they don't want to help me.
No. Is he willing? Was he willing to visit with you?
No.
To inspect the property? He's not. Okay. He didn't. Have you consulted like community legal service or anyone else to provide legal advice to you?
No, I don't have any money. When I ask about it, they want money.
So
I don't
community
have
legal
any
service.
money.
Community
The
legal
guys
service.
in front of my door, they constantly ask me for money.
You aren't allowing me.
I live right beside a Chinese store.
You aren't allowing me
I
to
go in the
finish my
house.
statement. Mr. Williams, you have to
Sure.
let me finish. You have to let me finish.
Yes.
Community legal services provides free legal help. Free, FREE, free.
Yes.
You should contact them.
Yes.
Okay. You should check with your local elected official, your city council person, your state representative. Have you done that?
Yes.
You have?
No, I
Talk
don't
to them.
understand.
They may be able to help you understand what you have in front of you. Understand? Okay.
Right.
Now we have to make
the lawyer number.
No, I don't have those numbers. You have to look that up, or you can check with your local elected official and they can help you find it. Okay. In the meantime, you asked for a special hearing, so that's what we're doing now. And we have to make a decision.
I asked him for a continuance, and he's telling me no.
And we said no because you asked for.
He told me, I asked you for continuance.
You asked for a special hearing, so that's what we scheduled.
Because he don't want to give me a continuance. I called the office.
Okay, Mr. Williams, we're in the hearing now. So the issue, we have to make a decision on what's before us. And all the information that we have before us suggests that the property has a defective fire alarm system. It has illegal water hookup and a number of other violations that are really serious. So we have to respond to what we have before us. So I'm saying tomorrow or the next day, tomorrow or the next day, you need to go to get some help if you're having problems understanding. Okay. You can check with your, like I said, your city council office or your state representative's office. They can help you with this. They will help you do that. Or family, if family members would be willing to help you.
Yeah, I'm trying to get the money up so I can get me some attorney, somebody to be on my side.
Okay. But in the meantime, we have to make a decision based on the facts that are before us today. And so anything else from anyone?
Just a one sentence finishing argument.
Yes.
This matter is about public safety. And it's currently not safe to be in that property, as the inspector has testified, as the photographs show.
Okay. All right. Pardon me?
The violations, he needs to come in there. Why is it not safe to be in there?
You can call and schedule another inspection, Mr.
I've been
Williams.
living here all my life, and all of a sudden it's not safe.
Mr. Williams, you can call and schedule another appointment if you like, but in the meantime, we have to make a decision as to what was presented. That's what we're going to do.
Lying to you on this. They lying.
Okay.
Where
Well,
you lying from?
You can appeal this decision. Whatever decision we make, you can appeal it. And so what I would suggest you do is get some help with that. We can't give you that help. We have to respond to what we have before us. Okay.
Yeah, but nobody responded for me.
Now, Mr. Murphy, or I'm not sure who would be assigned as if is there a number that Mr. Williams can call to request?
Help me?
Listen to me, Mr. Williams. Is there a number that someone can call that he should call to schedule an additional follow-up inspection?
His defense, Mr. Williams did contact me. Could you hear me, sir? He did contact me and asked me about an extension. And with the fire code violations, I'm not authorized to give it an extension. And I explained to him that he has to get, you start the proper paperwork to do the changing of use, and maybe I can talk to the supervisors, but as far as an extension, I told him I can't help him with that.
In the meantime, he still needs to schedule an opportunity for someone to see the interior of this building to make sure everything inside the 2 units or the 1 unit, however many units there are, can be confirmed. All we have is what you have, and so we have to make a decision on what we have now. But Mr. Williams' argument tonight, which is good, that I need to have somebody come out and look at the inside of the building. So that's why I was asking, is there a number for him to call, or will she just call the number that you have?
Yes, page 2 of the city, sorry, Mr. Williams.
No, this was Inspector Murphy.
I'm sorry, Mr. Inspector Murphy.
He can contact me, and on the date of the cease, that was a reinspection. That was a reinspection. If the ceaseable violations wasn't corrected, then I would have ceased the property. That's the second reinspection.
I would also point out that contact information for the L&I district is on the notice of violations in the upper right-hand corner, page 2 of the city's packet.
Okay, Mr. Williams, page 2, upper right-hand corner, it's a phone number that you can call.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Okay. With regard to HA-2022-00413, Joel Williams, 1921 North 31st Street. City affirmed.
City affirmed.
City affirmed.
Mr. Williams, the position of the board is that the city's position is holds. You can appeal this decision by calling, checking in with the administrative office of the review board, and you should call that upper right-hand number to get a reinspection of your property if you believe that some of those things have already been corrected. So that's what I would advise you to do. Okay.
But I don't understand. What is he saying? They confirmed about what? What is the confirmed part?
What we just said is that the city's position, the violation notices that the city have been written properly, and therefore should be executed. Okay.
And then, is he coming out to reinspect to say is repaired?
I'm saying you should request a reinspection if you believe it's been redone. But in the meantime, the current violations are still in place, and we voted to, in fact, affirm those current violations.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much. What that mean? Do they say I'm guilty? Do they
yes, it's done. That's done. Yes, and you can appeal that decision. You can make an appeal, but you have to. There's certain ways you have to do that. We don't have that information for you tonight, but you can call the office and they can help you. They can give you the information you would need. Okay. So have a good night. The hearing is now over.
Thank you
very
and
much.
good evening, members of the board.
Good night. We do have an executive session for 3 minutes. So if you would just clear the Deb,
Yes,
just clear everything
before the court reporter, I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, I need to read into the record a corrected appeal number. It was read into the record incorrectly. So
okay, Mr. Williams is still with us, so would you mind?
Oh, sorry. Hear that? There we go. Up, Donna. Oh, Donna's
I'm here. I'm here.
Hi, so I just have to correct number 41 on the list. The HA number is HA 2020-001486. And I think it was read into the record as 1468.
Okay.
So what's on the schedule that you have is correct.
Okay.
Donna, all we're seeing is your ceiling. Is that something happened?
Can you see me now? I'm sitting
Not-
up.
not- no, barely. I can't see your face. That isn't
No?
working for me.
I
I'm
see
very
my
serious. I
face.
can't see you. I'm serious. Adjust your screen so we can see your face, please.
Can you see me?
Perfect. And now I can see you. Thank you so much. Okay. And I'm very serious. We need to know who we're talking to and etc. Thank you so much. You're done for the court reporter. Let's go to
Yes.
executive session. Thank you.
But we still have Mr. Inspector Murphy with us.
Yes,
Okay.
Mr. Murphy, please have a good night.